quick. Make sure you can still hear me. Testing. 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 Nope. Let's try this now. All right. All right. Let's get this going, shall we? I am Blue Ventricle, leader of the Blue Army, member of the Regulators. There we go. Still playing with this a bit, but yeah. My name is Blue Ventricle, the leader of the Blue Army, member of the Regulators, and doing something different for tonight's stream. Tomorrow, September 11th, 2021. 20 years ago, September 11th, 2001. A very emotional day in most of our lives. And I say that because literally that day, literally the entire world changed. Everything. Everything that, well, in my time, changed. And I mean, I've seen a lot in my time here on Earth. I remember the Berlin Wall coming down. I remember the collapse of the Soviet Union, the Oklahoma City bombings, the tornadoes that destroyed Oklahoma, the garage bombings of the Twin Towers. Heck, I was born literally 2 years after Challenger blew up. January 28th, 1986. I was born 2 years later. January 28th, 1988 is my birthday. And from then till now, I've seen a lot of events going on. O.J. Simpson trials, the snipers in New York, the father-son sniper combo. I remember hearing that on the news. I remember hearing about the Oklahoma City bombings on the news. Granted, at the time, I didn't understand a whole lot of it. The Berlin Wall coming down, I remember it, and I didn't even know what that was. I was so young, I didn't even know what the Berlin Wall was. I just knew it was coming down. The collapse of the Soviet Union, literally. Seen a lots of historical things. Lots of things that are remembered, still fresh on my mind. But I have to admit that out of all the events so far, this one is probably the most impactful time I've had. This is probably one of the most impactful moments I've ever had. So, let's get... I just want to try and get some things going on. See something real quick. I know a lot of people I know a lot of people don't want to talk about things like this. And it's understandable too. I mean, I can understand perfectly fine why some people wouldn't want to talk about a day like this. I know it scares a lot of people. It scares a lot of people. A lot of Fortnite tonight. Big Bulldog gifting 5 double one subs. Gifting on the CT Poison, the Liverpool, the Red KK, the High Brent, and Reg. I appreciate it, brother. Maybe later tonight, brother. Hey, bye, Bulldog, maybe later, but for right now, I want to give a kind of a memorial. I know it's tomorrow. I don't know if I'm going to be streaming tomorrow, but I think we need to remember this day. I appreciate it. We'll do that. Bulldog, why don't you come join us for a little bit? At least share a story or two. Party's open. Party's open, everyone. Hear me?
Yep, I can hear you, David. Got you on the lead. We're playing Status K. Discord showed up, said you was on.
I will do. Had to hop on the chat. Stuff for Father Time. Happy Mondays chat. That was a good bit. And Miss Daisy at the rate of 5. Finished with the potatoes in bed. Alright, hold on. Music loud. Can barely hear you. No music. There's something playing that I don't hear. Hi, Booty. What's up? What's on?
Hi, Blue.
Hi, Miss Daisy. How you doing?
I am great. How are you?
Doing good. ¿Hay música? ¿Tienes música aquí en la computadora? ¿Tienes música jugando en la computadora? Dice que está escuchando música. Entonces, oh. Huh. Much better. Gone. Oh, the sub tunes. Okay, okay, Bulldog. Oh. I didn't know it was still playing. I didn't hear it. But yeah, thank you, Miss Daisy, for this. Booty, how are you doing? The party chat is open. So I want, if you guys know my gamer tag, it is RegBlueV. I'm going to type it out right there. Join the party. Look me up on Xbox, join the party. Because
Appear online, Blue, please.
let me.
You gonna do that?
Yeah, let me.
Yeah, you need to appear online because you can't join if you're not online.
Okay, let me fix that thing because I did not know that.
That's why I'm always saying, invite, please.
I always thought you were doing that because you thought it was rude to jump into parties, even though I do it to you all the time.
Nope. You can't just join if somebody's appearing offline.
Booty, that's what we're here for. It doesn't matter if you're gonna cry or not. We're all gonna cry. We're all gonna get emotional about this day because if you don't get emotional about this day, something's wrong with you, and that's coming from me. I remember this day literally.
Come on, big
Oh,
booty.
this was 20 years ago, and I remember it, and I'm already starting to tear up. So y'all got to deal with me crying.
We're all gonna have to bear with it. So, but yeah, today, right now on the picture, the Twin Towers. No, those are the old movies. They were in were they in RoboCop? I remember they were in so many old movies, like Armageddon, the one with the meteorites, the cartoons of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Spider-Man of all people. So many things. These Twin Towers were in so many movies and so many cartoon shows. And like I said, I was born 2 years after, I believe it was Challenger that exploded in space, January 28, 1986. And in my time alone, I'll start off with my time alone. I remember the Berlin Wall coming down. I remember the collapse of the Soviet Union. I remember the Oklahoma City bombings, the tornadoes that destroyed Oklahoma City.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
The O.J. Simpson trials. I remember the snipers, the father-son snipers. I don't remember the year, but I remember that on the news. So many things I've gone through in my own lifetime, but nothing stands out more than this day alone. This day right here. These two buildings. So tonight's stream might get a little emotional. There might be some crying, and in a part, I do apologize if you don't want to. It's fine. I'm just gonna ignore that follow because I heard that you're a bot and I can't block you. I can't ban you. So we'll pretend that you're not here. But this day, tomorrow is the 20th anniversary. And like Miss Daisy said, I remember like it just happened just the other day. Literally. So I got a few things set up. We're going to take a look at some pictures. And not just the Twin Towers. We're going to talk about, or I want to see what we can hear about the... We got the World Trade Centers. We got the Twin Towers. The victims. The victims of, what was it? Flight 93. Flight 93 that crashed in Pennsylvania. Then we got the Pentagon that was hit. And of course, the Twin Towers. So, if you want to join the party, please join the party. It's open. I want to get as many stories in. I want to, as a streamer to his viewers, I think this is one way for us to connect better. The day the world stopped turning. Exactly, Alpha. Or as I call it, literally the day that everything changed. So, alright, Happy, you want to start us off? What were you doing the morning of 9/11?
Let me see. Do you remember that would have been a work day? So I'd probably been working about 2 hours, I guess. And I was running a high lift. And I heard about it on the radio. If I'm not mistaken, I think we might have quit work that day.
So much stuff just going on.
Yeah. Let me fold this. Then you know that was all that was on the news for a long time, wasn't it?
Yes, sir.
You know, you watched as pretty much it was live.
Yeah.
You know, at first, when it popped up, when I seen it on TV, you didn't think it was real.
Yeah. I remember that feeling.
Then, I believe things happen for a reason. Everything is for a reason.
Yeah. Now let me remind. I don't mean to stop you, Happy. Let me just remind you about the stream. We are not promoting any kind of ideology. We're not talking about conspiracy theories. We're not talking about anything except what we were doing during
Right.
this day when it was going on. Because I know there's conspiracy theories.
Oh,
There's a
yeah.
few that I can see. There's nothing, no political backness, no ideological backness, nothing. We're not going to get into any hateful speeches. We're not going to get into anything that breaks Twitch rules. I hope. As far as me showing these pictures, I don't think they'll go against the rules. But
It shouldn't.
like I said, this is just what we did during that day. What was going on during that day. So I just want to point that. I just want to point that out for everybody, because this has nothing to do with ideology. Doesn't have anything to do politically. Doesn't have anything to do with anything. It's just remembering a day and remembering, or trying my best to honor this day. Because honestly, I was conflicted inside myself personally if I was going to stream or not. And as everyone who knows me, I love history. Like I said, I mentioned a few things. One event I forgot to mention that happened a couple years before this day was the garage bombings of the Twin Towers. I forgot to mention that one. So, Happy, please continue. Anyone in chat, please jump in. Alpha included, everybody. I want as many people involved in this as possible.
Yeah, see, I remember things, but what somebody else may say may trigger something that I was doing.
I'll go next if nobody else wants to.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right.
Okay, I was working at a car dealership at the time, and if anybody remembers Buzz Post, he was a drag racer, and anyway, he also had a dealership, and I was a warranty administrator at his dealership. I had driven to work. The whole time I had driven to work, I was listening to CDs. So I didn't hear anything about it. And I walk into work, and I walked right by the where our customer waiting room was, which had a TV in it. And as I was walking by, I just happened to glance up. And as I glanced up, the second plane hit the second tower.
Hey, Ghoulie, how you doing, brother?
And at first I thought it didn't click in my head. No, that's not real. That can't have just happened. And I walked into my office and put my purse and put everything down on my desk and turned around and went back to the customer waiting room. And everybody in there was just crying, except for one person. And that person was he was cheering on laughing about it. I went to my boss's office and I told him what was going on in there, and asked him if I could politely ask him to leave. He said, "You don't have to be polite about it." He said, "Just get him out of here." I said, "Then you get his car and pull it up on that drive, and we're not helping him today." Then I went back in the customer lounge and I not so politely asked him to get in his vehicle and leave our premises, because he was not welcome there. And everybody else in the customer waiting room started clapping because they didn't want to deal with him. But the dealership did not do very much work at all that day, because everybody was in shock. Everybody stayed around radios, listening to the radios and watching the TVs, and even the customers that were there, they was like, "If you don't get my car done, I'm perfectly fine. I can come back another day," because they understood.
Yeah.
But but it was just awful. I mean, I whenever I first walked in that door, I was in shock. I mean, I didn't think it was real. I thought maybe there's a movie going on or something. And then once I realized, no, it is real. That it was so hard to deal with. I mean, I just sat there at work all day long and just cried, listening to the radio, and then I'd get up and I'd go in the customer waiting room and watch the TV for a few minutes, and then go back in my office and listen to the radio.
Chat, you guys can hear everyone, right? I haven't done a mic check or anything. We were just going off by it. My phone's dead, so I can't do a mic check. So I hope we're doing good. Yeah. And that was, yeah.
Yeah, you're doing good, Blue.
Okay. Like I said, open chats for everyone. The gamer tag is RegBlueV. I'm gonna type it in again. Just look me up and join the party if you want to join in on this discussion. All we're doing is talking about what we were doing that day. We're gonna be looking at a few pictures. We're gonna look at the names. We're gonna look not just at the Twin Towers. We're also gonna look at the Pentagon and the field of Pennsylvania on Flight 93. I put this picture up here right now. Huh?
Actually, Blue, if they want to join, it's your Twitch. If anybody wants to hear, and your Twitch is just Blue Ventricle. It's not RegBlueV.
No, I know, but I mean, if they want to join the Xbox party.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
It's okay, because if they're on Xbox, they can join the party, and we're all going to talk about it. Or if you want to type something in the Twitch, that's fine as well. I just felt like I just wanted to do something. I just now, while we were just talking about while Happy and Miss Daisy were talking about what they were doing during the day, I found this picture. Remember the movie? I mentioned the movie Armageddon. And if you don't know the movie, it was in 1998. I cannot remember the people's names to save my life. But it's about a meteor that's about to hit the world. Literally the same, a planet killer that was going to hit the world. And if the only way they could, NASA decided to get some diggers. And they trained some people to quickly train people to be astronauts. Fly to the asteroid or meteor, dig a hole, stuck a nuke in it, blow it up in half. And a lot of good people died in the movie. This image right here that's on here right now is from the movie Armageddon. I mean, I hate to do this, but look at that picture and look at the pictures of 9/11. It's kind of similar when you look at it. One tower hit in the middle, The other one hit closer to the top. And look at the damage on in the movie Armageddon. I hate to bring that up, but I just found that. I just felt like I should share it.
Oh, that's weird.
Very weird. Almost identical. Almost, I say.
And the movie was in '98, and
Bruce Willis.
Bruce Willis.
yeah,
I can't think of people's names. Ben
I
Affleck.
mean, three years earlier, and they have the damage almost identical.
Almost.
Kind of eerie.
Yeah, very eerie. Alpha, what were you doing on that day, if you don't mind me asking?
I was working. I was working at a different dealership from Tammy. We hadn't met yet. I got there, 7 o'clock early in the morning. Didn't hear anything, early about it. So we were starting. Everybody was working, and somebody, heard somebody say, "What the heck's going on over here?" And one of the guys had a TV, his box, and we all went back there and started watching, and just absolutely dumbfounded at what we were seeing. It's like people were saying, it's like this has got to be a movie. This can't be real.
Right. I'm gonna talk with you too. That's what Daisy said it too. When you see it, that's the first thing you think, man, what kind of movie is this? Then, as you keep watching and listening, it wasn't no movie.
Yeah, the reality sets in, and you just, how did this happen? Is it going to happen here? Is it just going to be New York? Or is it, and here in our dealership was near Air Force Base, and hearing the jet scramble, and and then the silence of no planes through the day, as it went on. It's just me and several of the guys talked about it today that were there. 'Cause I'm back working at the same dealership that I was working at when it happened. And like she said, we didn't get any work done that day. Everything stopped. We all just, watching, seeing what was going on, trying to come to terms with it, calling family. I didn't know anybody in New York.
I didn't either.
I did have family in Virginia, in Arlington, Virginia, and which is close to the Pentagon, right across the river. Everybody was fine, but I didn't personally know anybody, but
it felt like I did.
yeah, everybody's brother at that point. It's not white, black, brown, purple, yellow. It doesn't matter. We're all Americans.
Mm-hmm. All right. Let's see. Is anyone joining the party? Because I can't see the stream. I can't see who's in the party yet. Or is
No.
It's just us?
It's just us. I think
Yeah, it's
so far.
just us
Yeah.
that's actually in the party.
What's going on, Brandon? Well, my story is going to be a little different because I was still in school. I was in middle school when this happened. I did not go to school this day because we actually had a funeral we had to go to. And I was different from the kids. I love watching the news. There was just something about hearing the news that just... I was always interested in what was going on in the world. I would always listen to the news. So this day, we wake up early. Like I said, then go to school because we're going to a funeral. My mom's getting ready. And I was watching the news. And I can't remember which news station I was watching at the time. But I turned it on, and the first tower was already hit.
Blue, I can't hear you.
And
If you can
what it
hear
was
me,
mostly
I cannot hear
Party
you.
down.
it looked like there was a fire in the building.
Xbox party went away.
I was
Oh, you know what?
13 years old.
His
20 years old. I was 13 years old. So when you see
controller
something like
probably
this
turned
on
itself
news,
off.
you're thinking, oh, a fire broke out in the building, you know?
Wait.
And I remember they were talking about it, and they were interviewing someone. I can't remember their names, but they were interviewing someone, and someone was saying it was a plane hit or something exploded. No one knew what was going on. And I remember on the news, I saw the plane
Yeah, I can't
coming,
hear anybody in it.
and it hit the second tower.
I can hear you.
And I saw
Yeah,
that
there's
I can
Happy.
hear Happy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can't.
I guarantee his controller died, or not died,
Turn the
but just
controller
turned
on.
itself off.
Can't hear me?
Because they
Sorry.
do that if you're not using them.
Sorry, let me fix this real quick.
Anybody?
I told him. I told you.
Can you hear me
And
now?
Happy said turn controller on.
Yep.
Yes.
Sorry about
Yes,
that.
I can hear you now.
Sorry about that, guys.
That's
Controller
okay.
turn off.
Yeah, it turned off on me. I'm sorry. What was the last thing you
It's
guys
okay.
heard, or were you guys listening to the stream?
That
you were in school.
You said that
And
you
that-
didn't go to school
didn't go to
because
school.
you had a funeral,
Okay.
but then you contradicted yourself and said that you went to school early.
No.
No.
Okay, so let me start over.
He liked watching the news.
Yeah, I liked watching the news in the morning. I didn't go to school that day because we were having a family funeral. I'm just gonna need to keep turning my controller around to keep it on. So I turned on the news, and I was 13 years old at the time. And what happened when I saw that on the tower was first tower was already hit. And I was thinking, wow, it was a fire, you know. You're 13 years old, you see this on the news, you're thinking the building caught on fire for whatever reason. They were interviewing somebody. I can't remember their names. They were interviewing somebody. And they were talking about a plane hit. One person said a plane, another one said it was an explosion, you know. You don't know what's going on, like you all said, you know, you're just coming in. Well, while they were interviewing the person, I saw the second plane come, and all of a sudden I saw explosion on the other tower. And I still can't believe that I saw the second tower hit by the second plane. I'm kind of going crazy right now about it. And like you said, no one understood what was going on. And, you know, I can clearly see the second tower was hit, and the plane came, and then it didn't come through on the other side. So you know the plane just hit the tower. And I called my mom. You know, like I said, I'm 13 years old. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't understand the world at that time. The only thing I understood was what was going on in my world at that one moment. And then all of a sudden that was going on. I called my mom. She comes running to the TV because, like I said, she was changing. She was getting ready. We were waiting for my aunt to come pick us up. She wasn't at the watching TV. I was watching the news. And she comes running in, and she saw what was going on. She goes, "What happened?" And I said, "A plane hit the second tower, and I think a plane just hit the first tower." And then, like y'all said, we were just glued to the TV, listening to what was going on throughout the time. So that's how my day started.
Oh. How old were you, Blue?
13 years old. I was 13 years old when that happened. ¿Puedes escuchar ellos? Let's find the picture. This is the second tower being hit by the second plane. And like y'all said, you know, you don't know what's going on. Like I said, I've never even... you hear about plane crashes all the time, you know, accidents. and then all of a sudden this happens, and you're thinking, what kind of accident goes into a plane? I mean, you hear them crashing in the ocean, you hear them crashing in the fields, you hear them crashing into mountains and stuff, but I've never heard of a plane crashing into a building. Not at that time. I remember them being hit, and I never left the TV. The only time I ever left the TV was when my aunt came. But when my aunt came, the towers, both towers, I saw them collapse on live TV. I remember hearing the news about the Pentagon being hit. At that time, I didn't know what the Pentagon was. As much as I love military and history, I didn't know what the Pentagon was at that time. It didn't click to me what it was. Then you hear about Flight 93 crashing in the field, and then no one knew what it was at the time, and then later on you find out it was part of the events of the day that was going on. Did you all see the towers collapse on TV like I did?
Yep.
I did not personally see them. I was still at work, and I was in my office listening to it on the radio. And as soon as they said something about the towers collapsing, I ran to the customer waiting room to see it on the TV, but they were already down by the time I got in there.
Happy, did you see them?
No, it was like 2 or 3 hours later. I seen it on the news.
Yeah, there's a picture of the second plane just before it hits the second tower. So from this angle, whoever I was watching on the news, they had the chopper or something on the other side of the building right here. Because I remember when they came in from the right side, and this is pictures on from the left side when the second tower got hit. And we all know the explosion. What a rough day.
I know tomorrow we have a piece of the main top of one of the tires. I don't know what you'd call that. Some kind of antenna thing, I guess, or whatever. What is that called?
You mean this right here? Like when they shoot the lights up into the air where the towers were? No?
Nope, it's on. No, it's one of the pictures there of the tire on the left. You see that thing sticking up? I guess that's for planes, ain't it, or whatever?
I don't know what
it could be an antenna. It could be an antenna for
antenna.
plane, and it also could be
Just a lighting marker.
for like storms, like a storm antenna for the lightning.
rod.
Go
Lightning
to
rod.
your left with your mouse, Blue.
this one?
No, go to the left. Keep going. Yeah.
This picture?
Yeah, that one or the one to the right of it. You see that thing sticking up?
Yeah,
That rod or whatever that is?
yeah, the antenna on the left tower.
Yeah, we have part of that coming to our county tomorrow for celebration, I guess, or remembrance, or
Memorial.
yeah, memorial. There you go. This will be the second year that we've had it.
Mm-hmm. Around this time of year, I always, during this week, I always rewatch the events. I rewatch them as they're going on. It gets me very emotional, but like I said, I believe that's something that we need to remember because there's a lot of
Yeah,
people. Huh?
we definitely don't need to forget it.
No.
Okay,
Ever.
Infamous is in your chat talking. Infamous, if you want to, you can actually join our chat here,
Xbox chat.
our
He
Xbox
said
chat.
he saw it.
I was there. I saw them fall from the crossouts and from Jersey City. I left Manhattan hours before the first plane hit. It's hard to go through the event of that day, bro. And I understand it's very hard. If you want Infamous, you can join the party. It's an open party. If you want to share your story, please share. Because we're going to be talking about what we were doing. We're going to be talking about the attacks on the plane that hit the Pentagon, the plane that crashed in the field, everything. We're going to be talking about a lot of things of the events. Like I said, it's nothing to promote any kind of political terms, nothing to promote any kind of ideology. It's just a group of friends talking about what happened that day. And Infamous, I would love remembering. Yes, I would love to hear your story, Infamous, if you can, if you would. And they're gonna be hard for all of us. I mean,
I've already cried through telling mine.
and I'm getting emotional on mine. I've never been much of a crier. It's hard to get me to cry, but like I said earlier, you have to get emotional because if you don't get emotional, then there is something wrong. Here's a picture of those beams, the lights that they shoot up into the sky, where they once stood.
One of these years, Diesel and I, we've talked about whenever we go on vacation, instead of leaving the country, like we usually do, we've talked about going up to New York and going to all the memorials up there. Because that is something I would absolutely love to see.
I've been thinking about the same thing, and you're talking about the memorials. Here's one right here. I believe I don't know which tower this is, but this is where one of the towers stood.
I had actually been to New York several times, and there's when I was younger, because my uncle lived in just outside Washington D.C. So in the summertime, we would go up there and spend time in D.C. and my sister loved New York, and so we would always make a journey up there while we were staying in D.C. up to New York, and we'd usually do a one-day thing where we leave D.C. early in the morning and drive up to New York, tour a museum, go to a show, whatever. And I have several pictures of me from different areas on top of the World Trade Center, on top of the towers at the observation deck, looking out over New York. And so, yeah, that's a journey that I want to make up there to the site and go back and see all the stuff. I've seen several documentaries on the making of the museum and stuff like that. It's something that it's on my bucket list. I want to go.
Yeah.
I've been to all the memorials in D.C. The Vietnam Memorial, the Holocaust. There's so many that are really neat to go to, well thought out, and I think that this 9/11 museum is going to rank right up there as one of the best from everything that I've seen. The guys and I were talking today. There's a show on, and I forget what network they said it was on. I think it's called Turning Point.
Mm-hmm.
It's about the events that led up to it and what happened from there in the world.
You know, some.
So
Oh, sorry.
that's one thing I want to look. I want to seek that show out and watch it.
Yeah. You know, I know this is off topic a bit, but you were talking about memorials and all the other things. One place I would love to go visit would be Auschwitz. That's one place I would
Mhm.
want to go visit, along with the 9/11 memorials. Right now, we're looking at a picture. I don't know how many days or how long after the towers collapsed, and you can see some firefighters right through there. You know, I used to think my dad was a police officer. He was in the Navy and he was a police officer. And you know, I always knew that, you know, each branch, I call them branches, you know, you have your firefighters, you have your police officers, your ambulance and everything. And you know that they all face their own risks. Each in their job has their own risks. Police officers, of course, you know, they don't know what's going on. They're at the front, they're up there dealing with people who decide they don't want to follow the law. You got firefighters who go into burning buildings when everyone's running out of them, trying to find people, save people. Medics, you know, they're on the road and on the high speeds when they're trying to get to someone, to the hospital or to a location, because they can make the difference between a person being saved or not. Like y'all said, you know, when you're talking about 9/11, you're seeing the towers. You, I remember when I saw the towers collapsing, you know, you're thinking, oh, please don't let there anyone be in there. And then you remember there's firefighters in there. You remember there's all those peoples above that couldn't get through in there. And watching the towers come down. You don't want to think there's people in there, but in the back of your mind, you know there's people in there when they're coming down. I know it's hard to bring up, but I mean, we have to face it. I mean, we faced it on that day, and we're facing our memories right now. It's a Vancouver Fire Rescue shirt pulled off from the rubble from 9/11. Yeah, watching people jump. I was gonna get to that too, Booty. I'm just trying to. I'm trying to build myself up for it because this is something that's hard for anyone to talk about when you think about it. People jumping out because what are they gonna do? And it's very hard. I
Yeah,
remember.
like back when you was talking about the firefighters, you know, people were leaving, and here they were trying to fight their way in to find rescue people.
Yep.
You know, not just firefighters, cops, whoever was there.
Volunteers. Yeah.
And volunteers. The days after, you know, the big event was the towers collapsing, but then the thousands of people that volunteered their time to search the rubble, just just to go and help in any way they could.
There's a picture of one of those meetings. I can't. I don't know if I can make it bigger. See what we can find. Mm.
You know, just everybody wanted to do something to help any way they could.
Buddy, you were talking about the people, and you know what? I hate to talk about it too, but it's like, what are you gonna do? You gonna suffocate, or There's a dog helping some police officers, firefighters, searching for people. Oh man. There's one right there. Here's the picture I was looking for. You guys are talking about volunteers, firefighters, police, construction workers, medics, normal people, everyone just coming together and trying to help out any way you can.
Yep.
Yeah, I cannot imagine the thoughts that went through their heads to make their decision to wait in a collapsing building or jumping. I can't either. I mean, there's no way. There's no way you can understand. It's like people in the military. You can't understand what they went through until you go through it yourselves. And you can read about it all the time. You can hear their stories all the time. But it's different from hearing their stories and actually being in that situation. There's a little bit more rubble. A picture of rubble from the towers. Right there, that should tell you right there. You can actually see the tears coming from his eyes in this picture. Literally, we were broken as a nation on that day. Now, I don't mean broken as in defeated. I mean broken because a part of us was killed on that day. We were emotional on that day. Including me, 13 years old, not knowing what was going on, not knowing about the world, and then seeing this unfolding. There's a picture of the Pentagon. Even though I got hit by only one tower, I don't.
Plane.
Yeah, plane. Sorry. Got a lot going through my head while I'm trying to figure out how we're gonna do this. And there you go, right there. Firefighter also broken. I mean, you can't hold it. You try to hold it emotionally together. You can't hold it. There's no way. There's no way you can hold your emotions in check. How can you?
If you can, there's something wrong with you.
Even exactly,
There's no way.
exactly. Even hardened heart people like me. This bothers me. Just remembering it gets to me. Imagine the kids that were there as well in school when that was going around. I mean, I've never been to New York City, so I don't know where schools would be located near the Twin Towers. But you know,
Was they
There was a daycare. There were daycares in the towers. For
yeah,
young
while the
children.
people, while their parents was working,
yeah.
they was daycares set up all throughout the building.
It's a very, very emotional day. If I remember correctly, I believe that Flight 93, I believe that was intended for the White House, if I'm not mistaken.
That's the one.
And they crashed in Pennsylvania.
That's the one where the
passengers fought back.
Passengers took over. Yeah, fought back.
See, now, I'm going to put this out here, right now. Because this was the last plane. The first two planes, if I remember correctly, the towers were hit first, then the Pentagon, and then this plane crashed. So by the time this plane was going around, everyone on that plane knew what was going on. They were hijacked. They knew they were going to be used as a target. The other people didn't know. But they did. And so they fought back.
Right, I think on a documentary I think some of them had maybe their family members called them or something while they was on the plane or something to that.
Yeah, they found out somehow. They were called. Yeah,
Right.
and then on the documentary they were told, and then or one or two of them were told, and then the rest of them, once they decided what they were going to do, they called their family members, and they talked about the day, or not talked about the day, talked about what was going on and what they were going to do. This is the first time I've seen this picture. I've never seen this picture before. I believe this is actual debris Flight 93. I've never seen this one. Every time I hear about Flight 93, I always see the from a distance. I never actually see the plane itself. This is the first time in 20 years I've actually seen the plane itself debris.
Yeah, there's a movie, United 93 is a movie that tells that story.
I have not.
That is a very, very, very,
Powerful movie.
yeah, very powerful, heartbreaking. If you have not seen it, I highly recommend you watching it.
I think I'm gonna have to watch it. I haven't seen it. I have not built up the.
It's called United 93.
I have to look that up. It's something we'll have to look into. So, talking about something else that on that day, a third tower collapsed on that day. I remember hearing a third tower collapsing, but it was never hit by the plane. Have you guys heard about that one? Tower 7, I believe is what it was called.
I don't think I have.
I don't think I have either, Blue. Don't think.
I remember vaguely, but I remember that they were talking about a third tower that collapsed. I remember hearing it on the news, but then ever since the day, it was hard to find any information. It's part of the, like I said, we're not talking about conspiracies, but this tower did collapse, and a lot of people have put this tower inside one of those conspiracies. But like I said, we're not talking about conspiracies. We're just talking about the events of that day, the damage that was taken, everything. Trying to give as much memorial remembrance to the day as possible. World Trade Centers 1973 to 2001. So were they built in, was that when they were finished, or was that on April 4th, 1973? Oh, so they were inaugurated on April 4th, 1973. That's when, I guess the towers...
It's a year old.
You're a year old?
Yep.
So I'm guessing that's when the
Well,
towers were...
1972.
That's when the towers construction was done, if I'm understanding this correctly? Inaugurated?
I believe yeah.
It says even right here, they were destroyed September 11, 2001, along with the World Trade Center 7. That was the building that we were just talking about, or that I mentioned. These were built 4 new skyscrapers. Each 110 stories tall. Sorry, my man, I can't tell my story because it makes me angry and sad at the same time, considering that the people that was behind this tragic incident have now taken over Afghanistan and now have our weapons. So on top of the remembrance of this day, I'm angry as well. Without getting into politics, it's just this hard issue. I understand, Infamous. I completely understand. I understand, brother. And I know it's kind of hard for me to not trying to get into it as well. But I'm trying to keep it to myself how we're just talking about this day. But I understand completely, Infamous.
We do appreciate you being here with us and listening to our stories.
I do. I need to get better at that. Everyone that's in chat right now, we do appreciate this. Trying to get together and trying to. I guess you can kind of. I mean, we're trying to remember. We're remembering the day, trying to give honor and memorial to the day, and also at the same time, I feel like we're getting closer. I mean, me, Alpha, Daisy, and Happy, we play Vigor all the time. We played World War Z together the other day. We played all these other games, and we know each other pretty well. And I feel like that with this, we're getting to know. I wouldn't say know each other, but we're getting closer as a family together. Because literally, this day, honestly, without getting into politics, this day pretty much brought America together. It really did. Like Alpha said earlier, it didn't matter what you were, where you were from, where you were born. We're all Americans on this day. We suffered through this day together. And then we had to recover from this day together.
It's true.
Watch Turning Point on Netflix and The War on Terror. I will do that, Infamous. There's 2 things I need to watch now. The Pentagon was hit. The towers were hit. One that was crashed in Pennsylvania. It wasn't hard to find, but I did find a list of the 2,977 people that were killed. 246 were on the airplane. 2,606 were in the World Trade Center and surrounding areas. 125 were at the Pentagon. 344 firefighters, 71 law enforcement officers, and 55 military personnel were killed. That's almost 500 people, non-civilians. And you know the 344 firefighters and 71 law enforcement were inside the towers at the time. And we got a long list to go through. I don't know. I haven't I'll be honest with you. I told everyone I wanted to do this. Somehow I want to do some kind of honor for the people, for the day. And if I'm honest, I didn't know what I was going to do. I had no idea. I've tried thinking about it. I was talking to Mrs. Blue about some ideas, and it's just, I mean, what can you do? You want to honor the day. You want to be respectful of the day of that tragic event. And it's like, what can you do? I mean, like we said, we talked about our stories. We're looking at some of these pictures. This is probably the first night, or maybe not the first night, but you know, day and night, people were working, searching, cleaning up the debris, doing anything and everything. Look at that fire truck buried underneath the rubble. Say, well,
I saw something. Oh, I can't even remember what I was watching. It wasn't very long ago. It was within the last month. But they were showing. They were talking about 9/11, and they showed a fire truck that was crossing over. I believe it was a major bridge, maybe Brooklyn. I'm not very familiar with New York. I've never been there. But it might have been the Brooklyn Bridge. Is the Brooklyn Bridge close to that? Okay. Anyway, it was a fire truck that was driving over a major bridge on its way to the Twin Towers the day of, and all they could say was, the firefighters on that truck was driving to their death, and they didn't know it at the time, but they were still going.
Well, like I said earlier, you know, firefighters, when there's a burning building, when people are running out, they're running in.
Yep.
What
Sometimes
they do every day.
it's what they do every day.
What they're trying to do.
Hmm. Sometimes this angers me, but sometimes, you know, when you hear about the documentaries of some of the people that survived, that were in there, you want to hear them. You know, the firefighters, they got that little sensor thing where, or maybe it's not a sensor, but it's like an alarm. When if it's not moving for so long, how it goes off, it kind of gives like a beacon, so people can look for them. I remember hearing one person saying that after the towers collapsed, all of those things were going off. Can you imagine hearing all of that? Nearly 400 or 350 firefighters that were lost and all their computers going off. Dude, bot, I wish you'd stop following. I know you're not a real person. Trying to do something serious on the stream.
I know, it's the same person over and over.
Yeah, they hit Scatty. They were getting Amy earlier. Now they're getting me right now.
They wasn't doing me whenever I was streaming, just well.
I got macro too, so I don't know. It's just today is just not the day to
And
mess with it.
there's no way to click on them.
Exactly, that's what
No.
you can't ban them. I thought I was banning them, and then macro pointed out to me that's a fake ban. I said what? Then he banned me, and I was like, see, wait a minute, you banned me, and he's like, no, you can't ban mods. It's just a fake ban. You can't really ban them. I thought you could. I remember the day after I went to school. Now, on the bus, you know, you have your kids. You have all these kinds of kids who are loud. School buses are annoying and everything. You always get that one or two people you don't like or you can't get along with. The very next day was just nothing but pure silence on the bus. And there was this one kid in high school. I always ended up getting into fights with people older than me. I just couldn't stand him. I couldn't stand this kid. The only seat available was sitting next to him, and I did not want to sit there. But you know, the rules are you have to sit down. And I sat.
Two to a seat.
And two to a seat. Well, we ended up having to do three, but I sat there and I looked at him, and he looked at me, and the only words out of his mouth was, "Can't believe it." That's what he said. He just, I can't believe it. We were just all silent on the bus. No music, no talking, nothing. It's just pure silence. It was more silent than a graveyard. I mean, it was just so eerie. I remember it, and it's just so eerie. Me and this kid got into fights all the time on the bus. And I had to sit next to him, and I couldn't stand him. As far as I know, he couldn't stand me. But on that day, like Alpha said, you know, that day brought us together, and we never fought ever since then. We never fought each other. Never got into fights or nothing. And I remember in school, the same thing in school. you know, when you're changing classes, the noise in the hallways, you know, it's just you hear people talking, laughing, whatever, and you know, it drives some people crazy. But at this school on this day, it's pure silence. I mean, literally walking from one classroom to another classroom. The only thing you heard were lockers shutting, opening, doors, the shoes sometimes giving off that squeaking sound whenever you hit them right on the floor. There was no talking, no laughter, nothing, just pure silence. Can you imagine that? Can you seriously imagine? I mean, seriously, can you imagine that? You're walking through a school, a middle school. You know how loud middle schools get? And it was nothing but pure silence. The teachers, they couldn't even teach. I mean, it's like, you know, we were all in shock. We were in shock. We were in shock and we saw it on TV, on the news. How do you imagine the people that were there? Like Infamous said, he was there. And he's raging right now. And I don't blame him. I'm raging. I'm raging right now. But can you imagine going through a middle school and pure silence? You only hear people walking on the floor, walking upstairs. The teachers couldn't even teach. They tried to teach and they just couldn't. You go to a cafeteria, to the gym. They're supposed to be the loudest places in the building during lunch or during PE or athletics at the time if you were in athletics.
No.
And you hear nothing but pure silence. Can you imagine that?
Yet I was thrown out of school that time.
It's just,
Graduated class of 90. That was 11 years after I had graduated. Years old.
mhm. You can see the shock and you can see the people's faces right in this picture. Them running from the smoke degree. Look at this picture right here. The dust is still in the sky. It still hasn't settled. Everything looks calm. Everything had come down except for the dust. And look how strong that is right there over a subway. And you see a piece of the tower. I don't know which tower. I don't. I'm not going to try and pretend I know which one because I don't. I don't know the layout of New York. And you see this right here. Here's one area that was, I don't want to call it a safe zone, but this is where an area where a few lucky survivors were able to be. It says North Tower Stairway B after being uncovered during the cleanup. I don't know how many people were in this area, but I've heard that there were some survivors that were in this area. This is the core columns right there. This is one. Core columns surrounding the stairwell where a Miracle Ladder 6 survivors were protected. I think that was the same area. a rough day. What's this? It says James Lanza, firefighter who helped save 16 World Trade Center attack victims, dies at 71 from 9/11 related illness. New York Times Daily. I don't know if that's part of the tower. I don't think so. Or maybe it is. I don't know. And the list of people that we have are just the people that died on that day. This list doesn't include all these firefighters who are passing away from 9/11 related injuries. Because you know, all that dust, all that chemicals, all that debris floating in the air, even with the gear. I mean, this was in 2001. It's nothing compared to what the gear we have now. You see the picture of the firefighter just broken right there. And how can he not be? How can he not be? That's what I want to know. How can he not be broken down? Here they found someone, I believe. I could be wrong, but I think they found someone on this one. I can't get a good look. Yeah, they did. Anyone want to say something? Happy, Alpha, Daisy? I mean, if you guys want to say anything, please talk. I mean,
I just put something in our Discord.
oh,
I just said anyone that wants to tell your story about what you was doing on 9/11/01, join Blue's chat. Live on stream.
I was thinking about putting up some YouTube and watching some videos of the day, but I don't think I can. So right now, like I said, we'll just have to look at stories or look at pictures and stuff. Let's see what we can find. Let's see. No, I'm not gonna play that. No. Flipping ads. Um, 9/11 survivors from Chicago who were in World Trade Center, Pentagon say never forget daily life. 3 Chicago area fathers all survived the September 11, 2001 terror attacks. They gave a harrowing account of what they went through and how terrorism changed their lives forever. Time sits still in memories, even from miles away, leaving behind a vivid trail of sounds, smells, and emotions. To this day, if I smell jet fuel or concrete dust or anything near that, it just raises a hair on the back of my neck again. Says Don Maxo. I hope I'm saying the name right. Flames redder than any red I've ever seen in my life. Looking up in the side of the building recalled Joy Dittmar. We are living artifacts, added Ryan Yentis. 3 men, 3 buildings, 1 evil attack on America. You hear the radios in the cars blaring, you know. Coordinated attack. Tower 1, Tower 2, then it hits you, Maska said. Baska was in the World Trade Center Tower 1, Denmark was in Tower 2, and Yentis was at the Pentagon outside Washington, D.C. that day. I was so afraid, Denmark recalled. So afraid, so afraid. I just wanted to go home. The day was beautiful, unsuspecting, just like any other. That all changed at 8:45 a.m. The first hijacked plane hit while Basco was working on the 59th floor of Tower 1. He still has the clothes he was wearing that day. I could hear the creaking of the beams in the walls. I knew I had to get out, he recalled. At 9:03 a.m., the second plane hit Tower 2, where Dittmer waited for an insurance meeting on the 105th floor. We didn't see anything. We didn't feel anything, he said. We just had this flicker. At 9:37 a.m., almost 250 miles south, a third plane crashed into the Pentagon. I went about the rest of the day running back in and out of the building, helping carrying people out who were injured, said Yentis. I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing these names correctly. I really do apologize. 20 years have passed since 9/11 terrorist attacks. Much has changed, but one thing that has remained the same is the strength and the resilience of each survivor. Denmark travels the U.S. like a living history book, teaching people about the realities of what happened on 9/11. You can feel really bad, or you could feel, thank you, God, he said. Yentis and Basco teamed up with 6 other survivors to write a book detailing their experiences. We have a whole new generation of kids that weren't even born when this happened, Basco said, which is very true. All 3 men refused to be defined by a single horrific act of terror, instead choosing a life free of fear, still 20 years after the attack. The book detailing survivors' experiences that Yentis and Basco helped write is called 9/11 Survivor Stories, Midwest Memories. It can be purchased on Amazon, on ebook or paperback. All book sale proceeds go to the nonprofit American Pride Incorporated. Denmark founded the Always Remember Initiative. Its goal is to keep the memories of the nearly 3,000 people who perished in 9/11 alive. Let's take this into perspective. Before 9/11, when was America attacked? Does anyone know? The very last time America was attacked on her soil. Anyone? Alpha, Happy, if you guys are still in the party, because I can't see who's in party because I'm keeping it on my just chatting.
Yeah,
I'm here.
We're all still here.
Yeah, we're here.
I'm just saying I can't see because I got it on my just chatting. I don't know who's in a party or anything like that.
I do know this wasn't really an attack on American soil or anything like that, but I do know when I was in the hospital giving birth to my son, my oldest son, April 19th, 1993, that's when, what was it? Oh my gosh, my mind just went blank.
That had to be Pearl Harbor.
No, oh my gosh. Yeah, to answer Blue's question, yes, probably
Yeah.
Pearl Harbor.
Yeah.
It was. That was the last time before 9/11 that America was attacked on her soil. But Daisy, please continue with what you were saying.
I'm
Yeah, I
having
didn't
to
mean
look
to
it up because I can't remember. The Branch Davidians. I'm in labor, in the hospital, in labor, watching all this go down about the Branch Davidians, the FBI hostage rescue and all that in Waco, Texas.
I remember hearing about that, and I barely know anything about that one.
Yeah. It's always hard for me to remember. I mean, it's a wonderful time for me because I mean, I'm giving birth to my first child. But horrible for what they were going through at the time.
Mm-hmm. And like I said, you know, we've all experienced our own times inside in our history. We all know of different things that were going on. Like I said, to take the Oklahoma City bombings, we had the Oklahoma City bombings. We had the fall of the Soviet Union, the fall of the Berlin Wall, those tornadoes that went through Oklahoma City, the father and son sniper. I think that was a few years before 9/11. I can't remember. I just know I was living in the same house when that was
You
going
had
on.
the pipe bomb in Atlanta, didn't you, during the Olympics? Wasn't it?
I was born in '88, so there's a few
This
things
was 94.
I remember hearing about it.
Teddy Bear, would you like to join our chat and tell your story? You are more than welcome to.
Teddy Bear, join the party, brother. If you want to join and tell the story.
It was 1996. The Olympic Games was one. Yeah, I told you 94.
I remember hearing something about it, but you said it was '94.
I thought it was 94, but it's 96.
I was 8 years old. I remember hearing about it, but I didn't know what it was at the time.
Oh my God, there he is again. Dude, freaking go away.
It's just they're just bots. They're being sent here from. Thanks for the invite, but no, thank you. Just thank you. Doing this is good. Anytime, Dead Either. I mean, I want everyone to come to the party. I just want people to come in here and just talk about it. Because, like I said, I don't even know if I'm doing a good job, if I'm honest, because I'm not prepared for this. I'm not wanting to do this. I'm just not prepared. I mean, how can you
You're doing
prepare?
it though, right?
I'm doing it. It's just.
You're doing a good job.
It's just it's hard to do when you think about it. So, I don't want to put this picture on. I don't want to click it, but I have to. Man. Like Big Booty was saying, I mean, what can you do? You stay inside the building, suffocate, burn to death, or you fall out. I mean, what can you do? Here's this picture again. I don't know if they're kids, probably from school nearby the buildings back from there. Look at all of them. You can see in their faces. I mean, it's obvious. You can tell in their faces. Look at the shock they're in. Look at all the dust they're covered in.
Oh, I know. I remember seeing pictures of people covered in the dust and stuff, and like Diesel was saying earlier, whenever he was telling his story, there was no color. You could not tell the person's color of their skin because it didn't matter. We were all Americans that day. Color had no meaning. And just looking at those pictures and all, you could not tell. I don't know if I'm making sense.
No,
or not,
you're
but
you know I understand what you're saying. I mean, here's a picture right here. I mean, look, the dust is still falling, and this is shortly after, or maybe not shortly after, but I mean, because you can see behind them. But I mean, you can't. There is no. I've always believed that there's never been. I'm trying to stay out of it. I'm trying to stay. I'll make a remark about it later, but it's just. It never had anything to do with it. Look at this. Look at it. This is this guy covered in all this dust, except for maybe his eyes and a little bit of his neck. And then look to the guy right next to him. Same thing, covered up in dust everywhere, except for what was covered up. I don't have a lot of big pictures, but it's so many people in shock. I don't know if this is a survivor or not, but look at this right here. Police officers, firefighters, a paramedic. I'm assuming that's a paramedic right there in the blue, and a civilian right there. All right there, just trying to help out, just doing whatever they can. I am a person who believes that, you know, you can be, like what you were saying, you could be any color. But you take a knife and you cut off 3 of your fingers on your right hand. What are you going to see? You're going to see red blood.
we all bleed red.
We all bleed red. You're going to see bones sticking out. You're going to be seeing a lot of blood pouring out, and everyone's going to be missing 3 fingers. I mean, color has nothing to do with anything. I think it's just used as an excuse. I know that there are people like that. I'm not saying there's not. I'm just giving my mindset. Because we're all the same on the inside. We're all people. Doesn't matter where you're from, what your heritage is, or anything. We're all people. Here's some of those strong people.
Never forget. Thank you, Bricks.
Thank you, Bricks. Never forget. Bricks, you want to join this party and give your story?
Yeah.
It's an open party, brother. I want as many people to come in and share their stories if you're wanting to. I really wanted to hear Infamous, but like you said, you know, I mean, you can't keep your cool. How can you? I mean, see, this picture of her right here, that's how I feel on the inside right now. I'm not gonna lie. A friend who lost people they knew on that day. Broken down. I'm broken down on the inside. I really am. Interesting picture. This is close to what I saw on TV. This is very, very close to what I was saying. wherever I was watching the news from that day, this was the angle I saw, but a little bit closer. Like, what I saw was this part right here and up. That's all I could see from the news. From where the mouse is and up, that's where I saw. And I could barely see the second plane coming in and hit that second tower. Because, like I said, I was 13 years at the time. I was 13 years old at the time. And you know there's a plane right there. And you're thinking the plane's just going to fly right by, right? All of a sudden it disappears. You see an explosion, fire right here. And then you're wondering, where's the plane? The plane never showed up on the other side. Like I said, I was 13 years old at the time. So I'm just being honest with my mindset at the time.
I mean, planes aren't weapons.
Mm-hmm. Planes were weapons on that day.
They sure were.
I can't remember. Alright, so yeah, this was I believe this was the tower that was hit first. I think this one, the collapse last as well. And it makes sense when you think about it because it was hit on the top. And the second tower was hit more midsection, more of an angle. You're born in 2003. I understand bricks. I understand then. Yeah, I was 13 years old at the time when it happened. And I still remember
I
it.
was 29.
Daisy was 29. How old were you, Happy?
20.
Alpha?
Alpha was born in 66.
30.
So
5.
no, I'm getting my calculator out.
I was like, please no.
35, I think.
I'd say 35 for Alpha.
Yeah.
Okay. 2001 minus 1966. 35, yes.
Booty, you were 13 too?
Or because wouldn't have been 35.
Big Booty, please join this chat. I want to hear your story, Booty. Please. Or type it out. So me and Booty were the same age when this happened. And these are beautiful pictures of the memorials of now. The names of the people. I mean, it's beautiful memorials.
One of these years, probably within the next 5 years, is what I'm thinking. Me and Diesel's gonna make a trip. Our vacation that we take once a year. We're gonna go up to New York and see all the memorials, the museum, and
it's interesting. I have learned that there are 9/11 memorials all over the world.
yes.
I mean, it literally
Not just-
it literally changed the whole world. I mean, when you think about the after effects, they changed the whole world.
We well, anybody that knows us knows that we take a cruise every year for our vacation, and on our last cruise, we were I believe we left on 9 on
Yeah.
September 9th.
Yeah, so we're
And so while we were on our cruise, it was the
anniversary.
the 18th anniversary of 9/11, and we learned a lot because we join like Facebook groups, and in our groups we have like different contests and stuff that we do. One of the contests that we did was a door decorating contest, and of course Diesel and I we we decorated our door.
Welcome, Brick.
It was all 9/11 pictures and just different things, different memorial things about 9/11, and we actually ended up winning first place on that contest. And there was people talking about it. I mean, we'd be sitting at a bar or whatever, and there'd be people talking, saying that they saw
Door
they
decorations.
they saw our door decorated and all. And it was like, oh really? I said that's our door, by the way. And it was like, well, what made you think of that? I was like, well, tomorrow's 9/11, or you know.
Yeah.
Hey, Briggs, how you doing, brother?
Yeah.
Didn't mean to cut you off, Daisy.
Oh, you're fine. But we learned a lot. We even learned that there's, I even forget where it's at. I think it's somewhere over in England that there is a memorial
Mhm.
for 9/11.
Yep. Pretty sure there is.
Here, you're talking about memorials around the world. Here's one right here. I didn't even know about this one. So it looks like it's supposed to be a tower.
That's the one that, yes, that's one that we saw, that we found.
It's supposed to be a teardrop.
Where's that one? Huh? Where's that at?
In Bayonne, New Jersey.
Oh, okay.
It-
Yeah, we need to go to New Jersey too, 'cause I'd like to see that.
I'm just making sure I'm reading this right. The Bricks, you were born in 2003?
Yes, that made.
So I'm kind of curious, if you don't mind me asking, since you didn't see the events that we saw growing up, what was 9/11 to you from your perspective, from someone who was born after the facts and don't really have a, I don't want to say connection, but you don't have that experience
Yeah, I
of
know what
going
you
through
mean.
it. Mhm.
Yeah, you don't have that experience of fear and uneasiness, you know.
Mhm.
I was born 2003. So essentially, during my life growing up, my parents, when I first heard about it, my parents were watching a documentary about it on the TV in like 2009 or 2008 when I was like 6 years old or something.
Mhm.
And I asked them what's going on, and I was like, and they're like, oh, this happened in 2001 before you were born. It was a horrible day, and we'll talk to you about it when you're older. And as I got older, I started to understand it more. I did multiple school projects on it. Because
Is it
always
is it actually in history books now?
no, it's not in history books now. So one year we could do a project on like almost anything we wanted. It's like in the 6th grade. It had to be a historical topic. For history class, you could do it on any event that was a tragedy or something like that. I did 9/11. I chose it. And it was just the whole World Trade Center. I prefaced it with like when it was built and the attack in I think it was '93, right? The first attack that happened at the World Trade Center. And then in 2001, I did one on the big one, big attack.
Yeah, I think the 93 one, I believe that was the garage bombings of the
Yeah, the
trade
garage
centers.
bombings.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And growing up, I never noticed anything weird about my life, but my father always tells me the world changed that day, and it won't ever be the same. And you're growing up in a difficult time to grow up in. With all the instability in this country and everything, it's crazy.
Yeah.
And I feel like everything changed after that day. I don't know. I didn't get to experience it, so I have no idea.
I can tell you, even though I was 13 at the time, everything did change. America for a little bit was actually America, was literally one nation as it was.
Yep.
Here's a picture of...
My dad...
Oh, sorry.
No,
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, well, my dad always, he talked about, how he's never seen the country more together than after that day. Never in his life, and he was born in '69. And, he said it was unlike any other time in American history. Because it was such a crazy time to be alive.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm having a hard
That's
time
not
finding my words right now. I apologize.
No. It's.
We're all experiencing the same thing.
Yeah, we all are. What's going on, Hunter? Yeah, like I was telling earlier, I don't know if you heard about me in the middle school the day after when I went to school. I was on the bus, and I rode the bus to school, and there's this one kid I could never get along with. Me and him always fought. He was a high school kid, so, leave it to me, Crazy Blue, to get into fights with people he's not supposed to get into fights with. And before 9/11, we couldn't stand to be in the same bus with each other. That's how much we hated each other. After 9/11, we never had a fight. Never. Ever again. Going through middle school, and since you're younger, you know how crazy middle school kids are, when they're going from class to class, how loud everything is, all the cheer, all the laughter, all the whatever's going on, And on that day, the day after when I went to middle school, the only sounds you heard were people walking, opening lockers, closing lockers, doors, that's it. And maybe the occasional squeaking on the floor from your shoes. No one talked, no one laughed, there was no emotion. It was like, that's how quiet it was in the school. Even the teachers couldn't teach right now at that time.
Hey, Blue.
Yes?
I'm not sure how far away from Grapevine you are, but there is a memorial in Grapevine, Texas.
I'll have to look it up then.
This is a Valor Commitment Dedication in Grapevine, Texas.
Send it to me in a whisper and on Twitch, please.
Okay. Here, let me just take a picture of it.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious from people who were born after effect, like yourself, Bricks. I remember it was 2 years ago, and my wife was pregnant at the time with Mini Blue, and I took her to her doctor, and we were right there, and we were going through the appointments and everything, and they got the TV and they're talking about 9/11. This was 18 years after the fact, and I heard something that really, really made me mad. It's going good, Hunter. We're just trying to give honor and remembrance to 9/11. But on this day, it really made me mad. A mother who was, I don't know where she was when it happened, but she was old enough to know what was going on. And she said on TV, I don't understand why we have to remember this day. It scares the children. And that triggered me so much. It's like, yes, I understand it might scare people. How do you think we felt when it was going on? And we didn't know what was going on. We saw what was going on, and yet we didn't know what was going on. We had to find out in bits and parts. And you're telling me that, yes, it's a scary topic. Of course it's a scary topic. But how are you going to have the nerve to say, why do we need to talk about this day? Can someone explain that to me?
No, because I don't understand the theory behind, sweep it under the rug, don't talk about it. I don't understand. That theory is just incomprehensible to me. If you don't learn from your mistakes, you're destined to repeat them. So we have to talk about it. We have to keep it fresh.
Hey, Blue, say
Hey,
something.
Glock.
There you go. I couldn't hear you there for a second.
Sorry. Hey, Glock.
Okay.
No ads. That's right. No ads. What's Hunter saying? One day during school last year on 9/11, a kid made a joke about 9/11. Then another kid hit him square in the face. Thank you. It's all about sweeping it under the rug. Yeah, that's what Alpha was saying. And it's like, why? You can't. This is something you can't just sweep under the rug. Why? Oh, you want to say hi? Say hi, Mini Blue. No, right here.
Mini Blue.
Yeah, that's you.
My parents got married on September 14th, 2001.
Wow.
And they say that it was kind of like eerie because the event's 3 days before. But they said it was more like people were going back to normal life, essentially. Like
Or trying to.
trying to go back to normal life, yeah.
You know, but if you don't talk about it, it didn't happen. Exactly.
I actually have to go
Your
because I
pap
was
was
kind
born on
of
9/11.
scatty. So,
All good, Bricks. Thank you for jumping in, man.
yeah, stay safe, guys. Keep up the good work.
Thank you. Now tell Scatty if he wants to. I mean, he can join too if he wants to. I mean, I think he's streaming
I'll
right
let him
now,
know.
isn't he?
Yeah, he's streaming.
Okay. Yeah, if he wants to jump in, the party's open.
Alright, yeah. Stay safe, guys. Peace.
Thank you, brother.
God bless America.
Yes, sir. 1934, 9/11, September 1911, 1934. Oh, I got you. Aunt and uncle got married on 9/11. And it's a very historical day. Very historical day.
My youngest son was born on September 19th of 97. So he was just a few years old when all this happened. But it was still right around at the same time.
Yeah. And here's a picture right here. You can see them all drained. Probably taking their first break and who knows, and forever. And you're probably certain that they didn't want to take the break, but they know they have to. I mean, a body has to take a break regardless. Even a military person understands that. Your older brother was born in 95. I would love to hear the stories. And you know, not everyone had masks, and even if they did, I mean, once they took them off just to breathe a little bit of fresh air, you know, all that dust and particles were still in the air for them.
Yeah, there was no fresh air.
It's not. I don't want to look at the ad. You can't see the picture very well, but it shows people, a normal person with a shovel, work in the middle of construction workers and firefighters with a shovel. I don't think you can see it. It's very hard, and I can't really zoom it in that well. But yeah, normal people, normal civilians like us. Everyone setting aside their differences and helping each other out. Like Brick said, it's true. The days after the attack, it was the only time that everyone was actually together. Look at this picture. Even though it's gonna be hard to look, I think it's just seconds after the tower collapsed. And look at all that dust. The second tower, I believe. All that dust is going around there. The dust that's around there that's lighter is from after the first tower collapsing. And this dust right here is from the second tower collapsing. And like Miss Daisy said, no fresh air. Literally, there was no fresh air. Look at this. Again, I think this is the second tower collapsing right now. I can't tell from the picture.
Yeah.
You know, I have to. I'm going to share this. Bricks, I hope you can hear this, because actually this is something I just thought about that I wanted you to hear as well. I saw that when the first tower came down, after being struck more in the middle and coming down, I was looking at the second tower and I was thinking to myself, there's hope. Maybe there's hope that this tower will not come down. Because you're thinking it's hit further up. You don't think that, I mean, I don't remember I don't know what floors were affected by the first hit. But you're thinking it's high up, you know? And you're thinking, okay, one tower came down because it got struck right there more in the middle. Okay, I can see it now. Okay, it makes sense. Maybe it doesn't make sense. I can't think of the words. But I remember in my mind, just before the second tower came down, I said out loud, maybe there's hope. Maybe this tower will not come down. Maybe whoever did this will not have they will not be satisfied because the tower will stand up. One tower is going to stand up. I was convinced one tower was going to stand. As soon as I finished that sentence, the tower started coming down. I can still hear the screams of the people from the camera, from the news people that were there. I could still hear their screams when the towers were coming down and everyone was running away. How do you think that feels when you can remember hearing those screams?
Especially when you was only 13.
Mm-hmm. The only time I've ever heard screaming like that was whenever there's people fighting, you know? As when you're 13, you hear people fighting and someone's getting involved and everyone's scared because of a fight's going on. How can you imagine I felt when I can still remember hearing the screams from the station? I can't even remember what station I was watching. I just remember it was Channel 12. And I was in North Texas at the time. In the area called Sherman. This is where I was living at the time when it happened. And I just remember Channel 12. That was we didn't have cable. We didn't have satellite. We just had normal antenna channels at the time. And we didn't have a whole lot of channels. We had channel 8, 12, 13, 21, 29, and 35. I only had like 6 channels that I could watch stuff from. And so I don't know what channel I was watching. Off topic, you guys remember Tom Miller?
No, I don't.
He used to do the Doppler. I always call him the Doppler 12 guy. He was the one that was on on the news. He would be doing Doppler 12, and he would be the weatherman. It's all good, Hunter. Well, anyways,
It's fine. We didn't have here in the DFW area. We didn't have Channel 12. Our news channels was 4, 5, 8,
11,
11.
21.
Yeah, 11 and 21. And I always watched Channel 5.
okay. Yeah, mine.
No, that was 4, 5, and 8 were ABC, CBS, NBC.
Yeah.
I think mine was CBS on I think Channel
No,
12
Fox
was
was-
CBS.
4 was
20.
Fox.
Yeah. No, it became Fox 4. Originally, it was ABC, CBS, and NBC. 4,
Oh.
5, and 8.
Okay.
You think it's near clarified PA? Oh, we'll see. But yeah, that was off topic. I just saying I met a weather guy once and when I was in elementary school in Denison. Off topic, I know. I'm just trying to say the time. And is Happy still in the party? Why is he so quiet?
Yes.
Well, I'm sitting here listening
Oh, come
and
on,
reading.
join in on the conversation.
Oh, I'm reading what you're clicking on.
No. 16 years after 9/11, Cottonsville family remembers daughter. This was 16 years after the attack. I'm assuming this is the same area or close to where the crash was.
United 93.
United 93, yes, sir. This is. I'm not looking into conspiracy theories. Get that junk off of here. If I want to talk about conspiracy theories, I can start with one right now, but I'm not going to.
Oh, yeah. What is that, big rock, or what is that, Blue? I can't see.
It says solemn gathering marks Flight 93 crash in Pennsylvania. I don't know if it's a big rock. I mean, it looks like a big rock. Clearfield.
I think that's the crash site in Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm. I kind of wonder
I
if.
think they've put up a memorial there, I think.
I mean, I hope they did. I mean, it makes sense to have one.
Oh yeah, there is one. There is one in Pennsylvania.
I mean, there has to be. There's no sense in not having one there.
Jerusalem, London. I was searching just 9/11 memorials across the world.
The Honolulu Advisor, America's bloodiest day, the second Pearl Harbor. It's true. This actually had more casualties than Pearl Harbor did. I don't have the paper, but I do remember seeing the papers after the day after as well. All these newspapers. I was a weird 13-year-old. I loved news. I loved reading news from the newspaper. I was just so into what was going on in the world. I was so curious. This was it. This is the Washington Post, but this is what I saw on live TV. This right here. I knew there was a tower in the back, and I could see this plane coming in from the right. It disappears behind it here. You see explosion, and the plane never came up on this side. This was nearly the view I saw live on TV when I saw the second plane hit. You could barely see it, but you could tell the shape was the shape of a plane. I mean, everyone knows what the shape of a plane is, including kids.
Yep.
Excuse me.
Just looking through all the debris. Look how much dust is piled up on this ambulance on here. I don't know how far you guys are behind on the stream. I don't know what the delay is, so. Now, of course, with the Pentagon being hit as well, we don't have as much information, obviously, because it is a governmental building. Here's some damage that the Pentagon took as well. You would think, well, maybe this.
You would, Blue, but I know what you're thinking
What?
about more damage.
A little bit more damage. Yeah. But also you would,
I know what you're getting at.
I mean, 4 planes. I mean, 2 for the tower. I mean, and let's be honest with this. What did each thing represent? Maybe I'm wrong on this. I mean, you guys correct me, but let me see what the symbol, or maybe not symbol. What's the word I'm looking for? What was the? I can't think of the word. I mean, when you
Why those targets?
well, not really. I mean, it's yeah, that's it. But I'm trying to think of the which target exactly. That's it. Which target symbolizes, and this is what I think. Let's be honest. The Pentagon, obviously, for America's military might at the time. Because remember, we're talking about 2001. We're not talking about today. We're talking about 2001. Military might.
And look where they hit it. And look where they hit the Pentagon.
Mm-hmm.
They could have hit it anywhere else, but why did they hit it right there?
Why in that one particular spot? Exactly.
Yep.
So you have the Pentagon representing the United States military force. The Twin Towers, if I remember correctly, granted, I was 13 when I understood this, and I could be wrong still, but because when it comes to September 11th, I still have my 13-year-old mind in my brain. The Twin Towers had something to do with like the finance of the stuff, right? Like it symbolized
America's.
Huh?
I mean, what it is, they were the World Trade Centers. America's, financial might throughout the world.
So I was right. It attacked the financial strength of the United States. That's what I was believed in. Okay.
Yeah.
So I was right on that one. And if I remember correctly, I mean, it's still speculation. But if I remember correctly, Flight 93 was supposed to be intended for the White House, which would represent obviously the presidency of the United States. Because a lot of people do consider the president of the United States as one of the strongest people in the world, because the United States has, at the time, is the strongest military force of the time.
Well, it's said that the president of the United States is the most powerful man in the world.
Yeah. So okay. So
Single most.
Sorry.
They say that he is the single most powerful man in the world, and so attacking his house, just
and think about
symbols.
Think about it. If they were able to hit the White House, I mean, think about it. That just proved that. I mean, let's keep this in perspective. At the time, at the 2001 time, let's remember we're looking at it through our 2001 eyes. At the time, we were not 100% sure who was behind it, but that just proved that the United States, the land of peace, and one of the strongest countries in the world at the time, was just hit by 4 planes and that could have done a whole lot of damage, and we didn't know from who. You see where I'm going with this? And like
Oh, I thought Daisy said something.
she said, "Yeah, I think." She understood where I was going with this from the 2001 perspective. That we were literally asleep. We were caught off guard, like we were at 9/11 or Pearl Harbor, and it just showed that how unprepared we really. Well, I wouldn't say unprepared, just more of how relaxed we were. And like happy, like you said earlier, why this one location? Why this one spot of the whole Pentagon that they can hit? Why there only? I mean, unless they were thinking that they came in at an angle and they were just going to plow through it. I mean, that's a possibility. I mean, I'm not looking at it from a conspiracy point of view. I'm looking at it from, well, for me, you would think that you would do a little bit more damage than that. So maybe they were trying to come into it at an angle and try and do more damage, like, you know, like cutting through, or is the Pentagon a stronger building than people realized?
The Pentagon is probably a much stronger building than
Anything.
they would have known. Just you know, and you know, did he hit it exactly the way they intended to? You know, who knows?
Yeah, we'll never know. But like Happy said, you know, it
Was the flight that hit the Pentagon? Was it like United 93? Was the passengers aware of what was going on, and were they trying to fight back? We don't know that.
You don't. Yeah, you don't know.
Yeah, that's true, because the Pentagon was hit after the towers. There's a possibility, but as far as I know, there is no. Well, then again, this is the Pentagon, so we already know the footage that showed the plane hit the building. I mean, that's all been confiscated by the Pentagon. Because let's look at this picture right here. I wouldn't know where it was hit on this picture, but I was told. Granted, okay, this might be the only conspiracy theory I'm going to be mentioning on tonight's stream. I don't know if it's this side or which side it is, but I heard that. I mean, I remember seeing the footage, but yet there's only one footage you see, and it's just boom. You don't. There's no other. Now, granted, I understand this is the Pentagon, so this is a highly classified area. So we know that the cameras around this area that did get the recording, they have been confiscated. The government has them.
Oh yeah.
So it just makes me wonder. I mean, if there is any information, the Pentagon would know. They're the only ones that would know, because technically the one on Pennsylvania, it crashed before it hit its target, so the government really can't classify that information. They really can't classify the 9/11 or the planes that hit the towers either. I mean, let's think about it. I mean, they did hit, but they didn't hit like an official government building. You see what I'm saying? Or maybe I'm wrong with this theory, but it's like anything that's related to that plane that hit the Pentagon is going to be confiscated. That means all the recordings, all of the footage, everything that was involved in that one particular plane is going to be classified, and it's probably going to be classified for 60 years. I mean, look at the Cuban Missile Crisis. I mean, there's information coming out now being declassified, and yet there's still stuff classified that we still don't know about. The Cuban Missile Crisis, and that happened, what, 50 years ago? Nearly.
I'm not
Yeah.
sure, Blue.
Yeah.
Because honestly, I don't know nothing about the Cuban Missile. You're gonna have to explain it to me.
Well, we'll do that on.
If
We'll
we-
do it on
yeah.
another time.
That'll work.
I'll send you.
Uh,
I'll send you a series, but you have to watch it.
Okay.
13 Days.
The-
Is that what it was called?
Yeah, the deadliest 13 days. But yeah, well,
There's a
All right.
there's a good movie about it.
mm-hmm.
Okay.
There's another picture of the Pentagon damage. It's just a weird angle for me when I'm looking at this. I mean, granted, it's not as a tall building as the towers, but it's an odd angle when you look at it.
If you look at that picture, it looked like he was coming in
At an angle.
his left wing on an angle, like his left wing was almost touching the ground, and his right one was up high.
Mm-hmm. Then that kind of cuts into my theory of what I was thinking about. I think this is damage. Do you think it's possible that, granted, it's not as high as the towers, but it makes me wonder, were they trying to come in at an angle? Because when you think about it, only that one section is affected. You would think that, whenever you see crashes of planes, when they hit the ground, they hit and they keep going until there's a force stops it. So
Right.
it makes me wonder, is this building stronger than what they anticipated? And like Daisy said, how big was the plane? I mean, I don't know. Because, I mean, it hit the Pentagon, so anything related is going to be classified. We know that. I mean, it doesn't.
Now I may be wrong. Right.
No, but I mean, but it makes a good theory because, like you said, look at that. Look at the damage. But then
The Pentagon is I may be wrong, but I believe it is the strongest building ever.
that's a very. It would make
Because
sense.
they built it that way. Because it was what they call that, octagon?
The Pentagon.
It's a Pentagon.
It's a Pentagon.
A Pentagon. It's a Pentagon. They built it that way for a reason.
Oh man.
Yeah, structurally, it's very, very.
It's very strong structurally.
Solid.
Yeah.
Very solid.
Yeah.
I mean, look at it from this picture. I mean, you can see it's layered. I mean, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 layers, known layers, and who knows what's under there. I mean, it has to have a bunker. I mean, it's just like the White House. I mean, I'm pretty sure all of our major places have like bunkers or stuff. I mean, they have to when you think about it. So, my question is this. Or like I guess Daisy said, how big was the plane? I really don't know. I don't remember. So anything related to that plane is going to be classified for at least 60, 70 years. We know that. I mean, like I said, look at the Cuban Missile Crisis, and there's still things about it that are classified. So I'm wondering, like Happy said, it came at an angle, and it's a weird angle. So maybe it's true. Maybe they did come at an angle. But then my question is this. Okay, it hit it. How come nothing in the other layer was damaged? See what I'm saying?
It's 5 layer. It's 5 layers of offices. If I remember right, it's 5. I believe it's 5 layers.
Yeah.
And each one of them is built. I'm trying to remember my history and when I've been there.
All right, here's a better.
And I forget how many floors underground it is.
I don't know either. But I mean, here's my thing. Because I mean, look at this picture. I think this is the best picture I can find of this. You see at the angle, so it does look like it came from an angle. But if it came from the angle, like it said, Rivers just join the party. Daisy, can you or Happy send Greg Rivers a party invite to join?
Yeah. Let me turn my controller back on.
So
Daisy got it, I thought she said.
Okay. So it came in from an angle. But if it came in from that angle, there is no damage to the second layer. If you look right here, there's no damage at all to the second layer. So if it came in from that angle, like you're saying, you would think that the other, at least part of the second layer would be hit somewhere. And I don't see any kind of damage from any of these pictures. But then again, you know, it's the Pentagon. It's probably classified, but I don't see any kind of damage on it. Rivers.
I sent him another invite. Sent him two.
Okay. Let me see. Okay, if I'm reading this right, Blue. Now this is Google, okay? This ain't nothing. It was a Boeing 757.
Okay.
American Airlines Flight 77. It hit the west wall of the Pentagon, Arlington County, Virginia. It killed 189 people.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Rivers, Amy, I think I see all y'all join the party.
what's the deal? Let's go kill some people.
And maybe later. Right now I'm doing my 9/11 stream.
Oh, you streaming right now?
Yes, sir. We're talking about 9/11, sharing our stories, and talking about some theories, not conspiracies, but theories about it.
All right, Blue.
Oh,
Now this is all Google now, okay? You can take it with a grain of salt or whatever. But you know how you said it went in at an angle?
That's the theory.
Like it was trying to go from one end and go to the other.
Yeah, kind of like cut through it like a cheese grater or whatever.
According to this, it went in at an angle. It come in from the right side.
On the right side.
Yeah,
So it came from the totally wrong angle then.
okay. Listen, I'm gonna go ahead and drop back out because we about to get into some killing, and I see y'all on a whole nother tip right now. So, yeah, I will catch y'all good folks on the rebound. Peace out, peoples.
Alright guys, see y'all. If you guys got stories to share, let me know.
Nah, I don't. I ain't gonna lie. I know I was young. I mean,
I wasn't
nah.
born then.
I was in middle school. I was born. I ain't got no stories about it. But I catch y'all.
We had a family vacation
All right, guys.
scheduled. We were
See you later.
See y'all.
scheduled. We were supposed to fly to Florida to go with Disney World
Mm-hmm.
the week after 9/11, and of course we figured out pretty quick that we weren't going to fly, but we did drive. We actually drove to Florida 2 weeks after 9/11, and it was really interesting when we got to Disney World. The staff, it was still fully staffed, but there was almost nobody there.
Everyone was afraid.
The workers outnumbered us, outnumbered the visitors, and it really wasn't. It was a good experience. Disney World was handling everything just perfectly. Everything was clean and neat, and the people were friendly. And Disney World's interesting because it's staffed by people from all over the world, and so getting to talk to people from different parts of the world was really interesting. To get their views on what had happened and you know their insight.
Mm-hmm.
And
But
you know,
Blue, those. Go ahead, Alpha.
no, we just decided that we weren't going to let what they did stop what we were going to do.
Mm-hmm.
Blue, if you keep scrolling down on them pictures here, I think you'll see the picture that I was talking about.
Okay, because I found this one right here. I was gonna talk about this one real quick. Oh, you mean on the left side? Scroll down on the left side or the right side?
Left side.
Is it?
Nope, not that one.
Okay, let me pull back up the.
But it was going the way you was talking about there a minute ago.
So maybe they. Oh wait, is it this one?
That's part of it, I guess, Blue. But they got better pictures than that.
Okay, but so they did come at it from the outside, theoretically. So here's the structural damage, the fire damage, and then the water damage.
Yeah. Do you see the left side of the red on that picture, Blue?
Yeah, it says the heliport entrance.
Yeah. Do you see the right there where your mouse is?
Yeah, the first floor.
All right. Now go to the, I guess, to the right. Right and to the west. Yeah, like that. That's how that plane went in.
Oh, so it came in from. So it came in at a bad angle.
Yep.
Okay, so maybe it did do
And-
more damage than what the pictures led to believe.
Instead of it, the way we thought, I thought it would come and go all the way through, then come out in the middle of the Pentagon.
I wouldn't.
But it sliced through it, tried to slice through it section by section, because that was the military department right there.
Mm-hmm. And like we said, the Pentagon does represent the America's might, military might. And remember, we are talking about the 2001 eyes. That's what we're talking about.
Right.
We're not talking about today's. We're not talking about a couple of years ago. We're talking about exactly at this time. The military at that time was. So I wonder if. So maybe they were trying to do what we said, but maybe the building was stronger and the plane wasn't as strong as they were hoping for. I'm wondering, because to me it seems. I mean, again, I'm not looking at it from a conspiracy theory or anything, but if you would think that they would try and hit it more head on and try and cut through
Right.
and make it to the center. I mean, that's my theory, because when you look at the Twin Towers, especially the second one that was hit, it came at an angle. It wasn't straight. It came at an angle and it went into the middle, more into the middle instead of the top. So, because you don't want to. I mean, we all know this. When the car hits and it just hits at one side, the damage is only going to take that one angle. But if you hit it from a different view and you try to add more damage to it, you can do a little bit more damage. Now, granted, you're not going to do as much damage from the corners instead of like the initial impact of it, if that makes sense.
If you go to the right side, yeah, Blue, the right side, you can see that one. Scroll down. It'd be the third row.
This one?
That one right there. Yeah. You see how it went in?
Mm-hmm. Theoretically.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, but like Happy said, we might have to take this one with a grain of salt, because I mean, let's be honest, anything related to the Pentagon is heavily classified. So anything that we do have access to is only what they want us to have access to. And like I said,
Okay.
it's a government building, so it makes sense.
Do y'all know when they broke ground to build the Pentagon?
No, I don't.
No.
September 11th, 1941.
What?
Exactly 60 years.
Wow. I did not know that. Ooh, in 1941. Man.
It is also the world's largest low-rise office building.
That I didn't know.
The entire U.S. Capitol fit inside any of the building's 5 wedges.
Man. That's just mind-blowing when you think about it. And that's just what we can see. That's not including what we cannot see. And let's be honest, every government has this. Every government sets up like a backup room or something. They have bunkers under these important buildings for these reasons. So, yeah, that's just like, Alpha already said we already know there's some lower levels, but we don't know how deep it goes down. So then it goes back to my original question, or my original statement. Did they not realize how strong the building was or is? Or was the plane not as strong as they were hoping? We will never know. That's nothing but speculations. FBI releases never before seen 9/11 photos at the Pentagon. And again, look at all that rubble. I mean, I understand its building was hit and parts of it collapsed, but I mean, just look how much that's from the Pentagon. I'm hoping this is the Pentagon. I don't know if this is the Pentagon or not. I'm just assuming it is because of we were just looking at the Pentagon pictures. Let's go back. Now this is the Pentagon. We know that. I just think this building was just stronger than they attended. I mean, look at that, look at the damage and the angle it came in from. I mean, it went through the first part, but I don't think it made it. I don't think. I mean, you guys understand what I'm trying to say, right? Or the words I'm trying to come out with.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, Blue. I was looking at some other things that'd be for off stream or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Like I said, I mean, I would love to get into some. I mean, there are some conspiracy theories out there that are actually worth talking about. I mean, there really are. I mean, you have your 3 conspiracies. You have good conspiracies, you have bad conspiracies, and you have BS conspiracies. Let's be honest. Some of them are believable, some of them I can understand, but some of them are just plain nuts. And like I said, we are not here to talk about conspiracies. We're talking about the day exactly, and just going through our experiences, what our emotions were at the time.
Right.
There's another one of the Pentagon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 levels from the ground up. I mean, you could see the building. I mean, look at the building. I mean, that's like what? That is concrete.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can see
reinforced concrete.
Reinforced concrete. You can see that from this picture.
It's just the way it was made.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it was made to withstand stuff. I just think that maybe they overestimated what they were going to do or something. to me, like I said earlier, just you would think that if they're going to hit something, they would try and do more damage. But then again, that's just I look at things from a technical mind. It's like when you want to do something and you want to cause the most damage, because I mean you can clearly see it only went through the first one. It did not touch the second. I mean, there's no. I mean, granted, these are pictures or from a distance, but I do not see any kind of damage to the second one, to the second layer, I guess you can say. I mean, and yes, there is a distance. Obviously, you can tell the distance between the first layer and the second layer, but it just, I don't know. Maybe they didn't. Maybe they overestimated what they could do, or they underestimated the pure strength of this building, because I do not see any damage to the second layer, unless you guys are seeing something that I'm not in these pictures. Granted, I understand it's a small picture to try and look and see, but I mean it's just I do not see any damage to the second layer at all.
Very minimal.
hmm Maybe a few scratches, but I mean I just don't see anything. I don't know.
The reason the Pentagon was built that way is because of the land.
And the land that it's on.
Yep, they bought or however got the tract of land,
hmm
and it borders on 5 sides, the land around it.
So it's kind of like a Springfield from The Simpsons, in the middle of
Yep.
everywhere. Here's. Look at that. I don't care about them. I just want to see this picture. So these are the 4 flights, I'm assuming? Or the 3 flights. Yeah, these are the 3 flights. No, 4. Yeah, 4. Okay. I'm confused because of these. That color. Alright. So Airlines Flight 77 was the one that hit the Pentagon.
Yes.
So it took them that long to. And that's when it got hijacked. It was over West Virginia. That's when it came back around. I don't remember the times. Like, I don't remember the times when they left on the days or stuff. I'd have to look that up. Airlines 93. So you can clearly, you can clearly see this. Look at this. So it left New York. It was over Pennsylvania, got into Ohio, and then it came back over. If you look at its path, it was heading straight to Washington, D.C. So yeah, this one was intended for the White House. That is a straight path. And then the 2 that hit the Twin Towers, Flight 197 or 175 and Flight 11, both left from Boston. So they had to. So the first one left first, obviously, and then the second one, because they both converted back on their targets.
Okay. Why did the one leave from?
Flight 77 flew right over your area. Hey, Cheese, you want to join the party? Share your story, brother?
Why did it leave from Washington D.C. Right? Why did it go so far out and turn around and come back?
Who knows? Maybe they weren't. I don't
either, Blue. I don't know.
if you want to look at distance, you were talking about 77. Look at 93 when it went out further. Which one were you talking about? 77 or 93?
77.
77. That's the one that hit the Pentagon.
Maybe they.
Oh, you're playing with golf and Barry. All right, all good, man. All good. I just want to add to the stream. I just want to hear different people's. I don't know. but it is basically a straight line. I'd have to look up. We'd have to look up the times, because that might have something to do with it as well. Because I mean, again, this is off topic, but let's go back to World War II when Japan attacked Pearl Harbor. That was not the only attack going on. There was another invasion going on. Japan was attacking everywhere on that day. It was December 7th for us, but it was December 8th for them. So they planned it to where everything literally happened within an hour of each event during Pearl Harbor. So maybe the reason why the flight took this long, maybe what it was that they were trying to coordinate it and make it to where they all hit the targets at the same time. Because
Right.
I mean, because the Twin Towers.
I see what you're saying.
Because the Twin Towers were not hit in that. I mean, what, 30 minutes apart? I mean, I would have to look it back up. I mean,
I believe so, Blue.
I mean, they weren't too far off. And then maybe at the same time, because if you look, when this turns around, when it gets hijacked, and when this one turns around, they're literally in the same spot. I mean, look at it. They're literally inside Ohio, literally almost in a straight line. So maybe what the plan was is that they were both going to turn at the same time and hit their targets at the same time. But the people of 93, I guess, had more. They were able to get the news before anyone else. And like she said, Flight 77 flew right over his area when it happened. So remember, he's in Ohio, so
Yeah, he's not too far from me.
yeah, so that's where he lives, in this area, so it did go right over. So I think maybe that's why I took the distance, because like I said, I mean, look at the ones from the Twin Towers. They were literally almost hijacked at the same time, and they both came into their targets almost at the same time.
Right.
So maybe Flight 93 and Flight 77 were supposed to be the same way, because my theory is based on this map. Granted, I'm not taking distance and speed into account. They almost get turned around at the same time, and they're both heading to the same place, which is Washington, D.C. So I'm assuming that they were intending for both targets to be hit at the same time. And it does make a little bit of sense. Here's some burning after Pentagon was hit. It's just, to me, it's just kind of weird. It looks like a V. I mean, it looks like one side's a V, but the other, it's like an acute angle, if that makes sense. Just the angle of where it came in. There's a piece of the plane. I don't know which one. P2
American
62.
Airlines, I believe.
No. I'm not going to look at Keepler right now. What's this? This is a screening. Never mind. That's not what I thought it was. I thought this was inside of one of the buildings that was hit, but I don't think so. Now I'm looking at it. And there's a second plane that hits again. It's more Pentagon damage. Okay, yeah, like you said, minimums. Okay, so the windows were affected. It's just, I don't know. It's just, it's not a conspiracy theory. It's just from me looking at this and how the damage came out from the Pentagon. It's just, I don't think they calculated it correctly. I hope I'm not sounding, maybe I'll just start with my theories. Here's the field again. There you go. Look at this man and how covered up he is and all that dust. You can't see what color hair he has. You can only see what his face looks like. But everything else, look how it's covered up. Even this woman's hair. I mean, you can see a few. I'm assuming those are highlights because people did dye their hair back then. But I mean, you can just see how much dust and debris was in the air at the time. You guys see that?
Yeah.
I have to keep asking him questions because, like I said, I can't see who's in or out.
It's all good, boy.
Okay, I have to ask this. I mean, I was not
Okay.
I was not intending to ask this, but I'm gonna ask y'all this.
All right.
Now, again, this has nothing to do with politics, has nothing to do with ideology. It's just a simple question.
Okay.
How do you think George W. Bush handled the situation? Because remember, he was reading to a bunch of elementary students in Florida when this happened. I mean, we all saw when he was told his reaction. I mean, look at his face. You can see it right here. He was just told, and look, he's in shock. I mean, you can tell he's in shock. What is y'all's opinions on how he handled it the best to his ability during the first couple of hours? I'm not talking about after. I'm not talking about his responses to what of the war on terrorism. The simple is how he handled it within the first couple of hours of the incident.
I think you done a good job.
Alpha and Daisy.
I will always to this day stand behind him.
Absolutely.
Because I remember the reason why I asked this is because, I mean, it's easy to say he should have got up and left and gone straight back and done whatever. Okay, that's easy to say. But let's remember this. Jets are flying around. We don't know how many planes were hijacked. We don't even know what is going on at this time. Remember, during this time, we don't even know who's behind it.
Right.
So what can he do? I mean, I've heard a lot of
Nothing.
people. I mean, honestly, again, I mean, remember, this is coming back from a 13-year-old's mind. I think he did good because, I mean, what can you do? I mean, think about it. You get up.
You can't fly.
You can't fly because, I mean, planes are crashing into.
They downed.
Yeah.
They downed
Yeah.
all airplanes.
Oh, right. And whoever, I mean, right, but like I said, let's remember this from the time by time thing. We don't know how many
Right.
more planes are being hijacked. We don't know who's behind it. We know and we know Air Force One. If Air Force One gets up there, if there's any more planes out there, they're going to go and find them.
Exactly.
So what can you do? Do you stay there and do what you? Because you don't want to scare kids. I mean, look at me. I was 13 years old, and I'm still scarred by this day. How do you think those elementary kids feel about it? Oh man, I would love to talk to one of them that was elementary, that was inside that classroom when that happened. I would love to get their perspective on it.
Whether he stayed there with that class reading a book for however much longer, or if he got up, did he get up and leave? What did he do?
I don't remember. I've heard.
I think you know whether he sat there and kept reading to them kids to keep them calm, or whether he got up and left and done what he done. I think he done a good job.
Mm-hmm. I do too. Because, like I said, I mean, you don't want to scare those kids. I mean, what class was it? It wasn't kindergarten, but they were young kids. You don't want to traumatize them. I mean, it's already bad enough that they're traumatized just like the rest of us. But at that time, you know, he was just reading a book to them. And then and like I said, you know, you can't just board the plane and go back because this is the president we're talking about. So you have to take security into effect. You have to get fighter jets around Air Force One, so wherever he goes, they have to go. and then it's the president. So you know they have at least, I don't want to 4 minimum, but they probably had like 12 around him at the time, especially on his way back. And then I heard that there was a detour, like he took a detour to head back to Washington D.C. And again, I don't see that as a problem because that was the heavy hit area. Get out of here. Because again, let's look at this map. This is what we know. And if he was going to Washington D.C., he was in Florida. So how dumb are you going to be to try and fly the president right back into the hot zone? Because technically, it's a hot zone. This whole area right here is a hot zone. So I don't understand why people want to get so mad with him about that decision. I just don't get it, because you don't want to throw someone into a hot zone. I mean, look at video games. I mean, let's take, I don't want to do this, but I mean, take any game where there's a hot zone, and if you go right back into the hot zone, what's going to happen? Bad things are going to happen. So you have to look at it from a defensive point of view. Okay, you need to get them back to Washington, D.C., yes, but you can't just go straight back. You have to take detours. But yet, I don't understand why people want to get so upset with him about it.
And if you're driving from Florida to Washington, you're spending, I'd say 15 to 18 hours. That's just driving from Florida to Washington.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he done a good job.
I
do.
I think so too. Look at this. I just found this. United States death toll during major events. Attack on Pearl Harbor, 2,404. Hurricane Maria in 2017, 2,982. September 11th attacks, 2,977. American Revolution, 4,435. War on Terrorism, 7,024. The Galveston Hurricane of 1900, 8,000 people. Well, talk about it, Kuji. We're talking about everybody, Kuji. We're just doing it in sections. How are you doing? The H1N1 flu pandemic, whatever that is, the 12,469. The Korean War, 36,568. Huh?
That was the swine flu. That H1N1 was swine flu.
Oh, okay, yeah. The Vietnam War, 58,200. The 1968 flu pandemic, 100,000 people. The 1957 to 58 flu pandemic, 116,000. World War I, 116,516. World War II, 405,399. COVID-19, according to this, 640,121. The 1918 to 19 flu pandemic, the Spanish flu, 675,000 people, and the Civil War, 752,000. United States death toll during those major events. How many people we lose backing up America for picking on people? What do you mean, Gucci? I don't understand where you're going with it.
So, Coogee, I guess, is Canadian, right?
Yeah, he's Canadian.
Okay.
I just don't understand what he's saying.
What he's saying is how many people did Canada lose by backing up America, like when they go into war or whatever?
Well, let's look it up then. I just want to make sure I understand, because I'm just focused on that. Canadian casualties. Well, since we're talking about 9/11, let's see.
Mm.
9/11 in Canada. Terrorist attacks in the United States, 9/11, 2001, had an immediate and profound impact on Canada. 24 Canadians died in what became known as the 9/11 attacks. When the U.S. closed its airspace, hundreds of planes carrying thousands of passengers were diverted to Canada airports. In the weeks following, Canada passed controversial anti-terrorism laws and sent its first troops to Afghanistan as part of the War on Terror. Yeah. We're watching horror and it's racial. Al Qaeda terrorist attacks. Monroe, the United States planes with enough fuel told to return to airport of origin versus revert to airports across Canada, fearing the attacks may not be over and worried other planes may be turned into destructive missiles. Transport Canada instructed NAV Canada not to redirect planes to large urban areas such as Toronto, Ottawa, and Montreal. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, Canada has helped out, and yeah, Canada, United States, and Canada has always been like one. Whether you want to talk about World War II and World War One, Canada was involved in it before America was in those two wars. And so far, according to this, the Afghanistan War was Canada's longest war. More than 40,000 Canadian Armed Forces members served in the 12-year campaign. 158 Canadian soldiers died during the Afghanistan mission. Thousands of other veterans of the war were wounded physically and psychologically, leading to additional deaths by suicide. So I don't have the exact numbers. Sorry, Guji. I don't have the exact numbers on that. Okay, so we've covered a lot. Is there anything you guys want to talk about?
Not on the stream, no.
Alpha, Daisy?
I don't think so. I mean, I've told my story about what I was doing and during that time.
I mean, we're almost at, literally, we're at 2 hours, 58 minutes, and 57 seconds about this. We've covered a lot. We've talked about, I mean, I wasn't even thinking about talking about the Pentagon or the way that planes hit the buildings, but I mean, that came up. That was kind of interesting. And again, this was a picture I was wanting to talk about. On the left is the Iwo Jima when they raised the flag, and on to the right is the firefighters raising the flag on that one pole that just happened to be.
Now, the one on the left, they captured what now? Blue?
Iwo Jima, the island of Iwo Jima.
Yeah. Right. And they got to the highest point or something, wasn't it? I believe, or I may be wrong.
That's when they finally took the island, because the island was supposed to be only a couple of weeks, and it turned out to be longer. It took out to be longer. So, and they did it twice. One was for the picture, and one's for the actual video of when they did it.
Right.
And on the right is the, you see it and you want to raise the American flag to show that they might have hurt us, but they didn't break us. And again, we were talking about the 2001 highs. We're not talking about after that. We're not talking about today. We're talking about this whole conversation that we've been having for the past 3 hours is through our 2001 eyes.
Right. Well, Blue, I think you've done a good job.
Thank you.
I agree.
I've been stressing this out all day. I didn't know how I was going to do it, what we were going to do, how many people are going to show up. I mean, I was hoping I want to get a few more stories, but it is what it is. Not everyone sees it like I do.
Right. I understand.
Of course, I've already know people not everyone loves history as much as I do as well. I mean, if we did a just chatting stream about history, I can go on for hours. I can probably teach you all things about history. That's just how much I love about history. So we talked about that. We talked about this. We have not talked about the list yet. World Trade Center, we talked about that. Still got the pictures. Building collapse.
Hey,
Huh?
Diesel probably fell asleep.
Oh.
mute yourself because you keep dozing.
Diesel's had a hard day at work.
I did. I had to work all damn day.
Say my kids are actually now. Yesterday, 2 of my kids were sick. Now today, all 4 of them are sick. So,
Oh no!
boy.
so I didn't go to work today again either. So, ouch. All right, so this is a long list to go through, but I like on this list how they let Airlines Flight 93 be last because they're the ones that did the "Let's roll" catchphrase. So many people. Nearly 3,000 people on this list. So let's see what this says. It says Flight 93 with how many? Flight 93 with 93 victims. Flight 77 or Airline Flight 77 victims. Does it say? Oh no, I read it wrong. Oops. It's the airlines. I thought it named the. I thought I gave the number of how many people. You know they're gonna take. I'm gonna have people reading this list tomorrow. I was hoping to get Hungry Ham Man in here, but I know he's busy right now. I wanted to hear from his
Don't
side.
forget to mute yourself.
I was the one that coughed that time. Sorry.
Oh no,
Oh no.
we don't want Diesel doing what he did the other day on my stream.
Oh.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
All right. And 10:53 too. I'll be honest. I just wanted to find a way to honor this day and get our feelings out and everything. Because, like I said, some people are telling me do it tomorrow, and I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to stream tomorrow. But I think it's really important to talk about this day and remember everything. And I mean, we all have our stories. We all have our emotions that we went through. Infamous, obviously. I mean, really want him to share it, but like you said, I mean, he's going through so much and doesn't want to get in trouble on Twitch, and I don't blame him. And of course, with him being there and seeing it, I mean, and like you said earlier, with everything that's going on today, I don't blame him.
Yeah. Then if he was to get in our chat, you know, I can't stop him no matter what he says. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean,
I couldn't.
I mean, I'm pretty sure with what he said. I mean, I read what he said. I don't know if you guys catched it what he said earlier. I don't blame him.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, I wouldn't stop him either if I'm honest, because I mean, you got to get it out there. But then again, you know, you got to
What are you
keep it.
talking about?
Infamous. He was here earlier.
Oh, okay.
He wanted to talk,
Yeah.
or he told the story, but when we asked him to join, but he brought up a good point. He would get all twisted up, or not twisted up, but he would get all angry with what's going on because of what's going on right now. And again, I don't blame him. And like I said, we're trying to keep this in our 2001 eyes and mindset at the time. How long does it take him to read a list? It takes him a whole day just to read a list, and there's almost 3,000 people. Well, we can't. I don't know if this is live or not, but they're already reading a list right now. At least a part of the list. So like it says, American Airlines Flight 11 was the first to hit, striking the North Tower of the World Trade Center in New York City at 8:46 a.m. local time. United Airlines Flight 175 struck the South Tower 17 minutes later. At 9:37 a.m., American Airlines Flight 77 crashed into the side of the Pentagon in Washington, D.C. The fourth flight, United States 93, did not hit its intended target, believed to be the White House or the U.S. Capitol. After passengers on the plane attempted to regain control from the attackers, it went down in the field near Shanksville, Pennsylvania. A total of 2,977 people were killed in the attacks. Along with the 19 hijackers, of those, 246 were on the 4 planes, 2,606 were in the World Trade Center and the surrounding area, and 125 were at the Pentagon. Most deaths were civilians, but 344 firefighters, 71 law enforcement officers, and 55 military personnel were also killed. And here are the names who lost their lives on the list. I'm not gonna, it would take me forever to read them out loud, so what I will do, I think this would be okay, and do like a short scroll down through the list. I think that would be fine. You guys object?
No, I don't.
No.
Nope.
Because I don't think, if I start reading, I don't think that we'll finish anytime soon. It's just a lot of people. The chat, this was a day that literally changed the world. And for a little bit, it's the only time in my memory that the United States was united. So, it's a day that does need to be remembered. Rex, thank you for your story, brother. I don't know if you're still in here, but I do appreciate giving us the point of view from someone after the events. And then we have Happy, Daisy, Alpha telling their stories. Infamous, who told a part of his story. Teddy Bear, who mentioned a small part. Big Booty, who I wanted to join the party, but I guess she gets her very emotional as well. And like I said, I mean, it's come to be expected. How can you not be emotional about this day? And even though I don't know anyone who was directly affected by this event, we all knew. We didn't know anyone personally, but we all knew who was affected. Or, you know what I'm trying to say, right?
Yes.
Alpha said it earlier, and I just can't paraphrase it right now. I can't remember how he put it.
It was the day that the world stopped turning.
Literally. The day the world stopped turning. The day that literally changed everything. And chat, these are just events that are never going to leave our minds. We saw it on TV. It affected the people that saw it in person. But even the people who saw it on TV were affected. All the people are stuck in the buildings. The ones who couldn't get out. Everyone who was affected. I mean, it's just... You can never forget.
Oh yeah, it affected everybody, whether you was there or not.
Mm-hmm. So anyone who was born after the events, it's like I said earlier, you can read about people who read the histories about events. You can read about what happened in places like Auschwitz. and you can read the stories of what happened, but you'll never understand exactly what happened because we weren't there. And in a sense, I mean, it's with all due respect, anyone who was born after the facts just don't understand it like we
Just
do.
don't know.
Yeah.
Right.
And you know what? I don't understand.
But that,
Why isn't that in the history books?
well, that'd be an off-stream topic.
Well, let me say this: in the school district,
It's our history.
in the school district where I work, they do talk about it. I mean, they do bring it up. Like they have dedicated this week for 9/11. So
But
I
they
mean,
don't teach about it.
well, and like I said, you know, a couple years ago when Minnie Blue was still in Mrs. Blue's stomach, you know, I saw that on the TV, and that made me mad. So, and like Big Booty said, you know, if people don't know about it, you know, who's got to remember, you know? So, but again, that's like Happy said, it's an off-stream topic, or it's another stream topic, because
Well, my opinions, it better be off-stream.
yeah, mine too.
You know, we think alike, all four of us, so.
hmm I mean, we might see things differently in some cases, but I think there are a lot of things we agree on, more things than we disagree on.
Oh, yeah. I'm prettier, so.
I mean, whatever you have to tell yourself to sleep at night, but you know, that's your own business.
I don't tell myself that, Blue. I've got it written on the wall, and I look at it every night.
It's a lot better than what I was gonna say. I mean, you gotta get a few jokes in there sometime, chat. I mean, this is a very dark day, a very dark subject, and honestly, I don't know who's gonna be talking about it. I mean, I don't know. Like, granted, I don't go to just talk chatting streams, but I'm pretty sure not many people are gonna want to talk about this or even do a stream about it, because I mean, let's be honest, this is a dark thing to talk about. But that's why I said earlier, we're looking at it from our 2001 perspectives. We're not looking at it from today's perspective. We did not bring up anything politically involved in it. We didn't bring up anything ideologically about it. We were just talking about the day, what we were going through. I mean, I did ask a question. What did you think about George W. Bush and how he handled the situation the first couple of hours after it happened? I mean, that's a legit question to ask. It has nothing to do with politics. It has nothing to do with anything. It's just a legitimate question to ask. And we were talking about the Pentagon, and basically, I mean, like I said earlier, any information related to Flight 73, I believe it was,
77.
or 77, I'm sorry. Anything related to that airplane is going to be classified because it hit the Pentagon. So any recordings, I mean, look at the camera footage. It's all been confiscated. So anything related to that plane is going to be confiscated.
How long did you say, Blue?
I mean, the Cuban Missile Crisis happened in the 70s, and it's still a lot of information classified about it. So it could be another 60 or 70 years about 9/11, about at least that plane that hit the Pentagon. It could be forever classified. We will never know.
Right.
I mean, it's sad, but you know, then again, it's understandable. Anything related to the government has to be classified, because if people know about it, I mean, then what's the point of having secrets, you know? Oh, excuse me. So, there's just some things that we will never know. And like I said, you know, we're not here. Today's stream was nothing about conspiracies. There's a few conspiracies. There's one that intrigues me severely. but I don't want to talk about it because has nothing to do with today's stream. I mean, it does, but it doesn't. Because like I said earlier, we're not talking about conspiracies. We're talking about what happened when it happened. We talked about maybe what the furthest we went was a couple of days after the events. I mean, we really have not ventured away from it. Who in here is a wrestling fan? This one I have to bring up right now.
I used to like wrestling back when the Von Erichs and the Freebirds and all. So back when I was a kid.
The Fabulous Freebirds.
Mhm.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Okay. The reason why I asked this, now I'm a wrestling fan. That is true.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to be like, well, what does wrestling have to do with 9/11? Well, an interesting fact. WWF, well, it's WWE now, but it was WWF at the time. They were the first ones. Everyone else canceled their live events after 9/11 happened. Everyone. Bands canceled. Everyone canceled their live events. Mr. McMahon, Vince McMahon, kept the show going. It was the first televised live event after 9/11. And he gave a very, very heartfelt speech. I would love to play it, but it's on YouTube, so I'm not going to be able to. But I would look it up. Look up YouTube and look at SmackDown after 9/11. And you'll hear the wrestlers give their stories. You'll hear them crying about what they experienced. But you should be able to find Mr. McMahon's speech. And it's a very, very powerful speech. You hear the crowd all yelling, USA, USA. You see the wrestlers crying, grown men crying. I'm crying on the inside just thinking about 9/11. I'll be honest, I'm man enough to admit it. I'm crying on the inside. But the way I was raised, I have to be that strong shoulder. It's just the way I was raised. But I would look that up on YouTube. WWE, but it was WWF at the time. They were the ones who kept their live shows going. Here, let's see that thing on the bottom. Just hope they're not playing the audio. Okay, just get rid of that. We're almost through the list. We're now on flight 77. And that is the list. Nearly 3,000 people who lost their lives on September 11th, 2001. May all of y'all's souls rest in peace. Alright, chat. Well, so we've been doing this for 3 hours, 20 minutes, and 35 seconds. I think we've covered, I wouldn't say covered, but I think we talked about everything that we can talk about on stream. Again, aiming for what the stream was meant to aim for. The events, the morning, the days, just those moments. Not the after effects, not anything else. Or maybe jump to a couple of days in the future from 9/11/2001. But again, that's what I was aiming for on the stream to do. And I hope that I was able to do a good job for this day, a very dark day in history, and try to honor everyone and everything that was involved during that day. And again, like I said, I did not come prepared. I mean, how can you prepare? I mean, let's be honest. How can you prepare for a stream like this?
You can't.
I agree. You can't. There's no way to.
And and we were able to keep it within the parameters that I did set beforehand. That right there is, I think that's the only thing I could say I was prepared for, was to keep it within my original scope of the plans of today. I don't know if I'm going to stream tomorrow or not. I don't know, but we will see.
I've got to plan a giveaway stream, because in my stream earlier, Bulldog came in and gave away a whole bunch of
Gifted subs.
gifted subs. So I reached my 15 one to do a giveaway. So now I've got to advertise it so that I get people that actually comes in.
Yeah, when I first started, Bulldog he did the same thing. And it was like, we're playing Fortnite, you know, he was all excited, and I told him I was playing it for. I think he felt bad, and I was like, no, don't feel bad. Well, a big shout out to Bulldog for those gifted subs. Shout out to everyone who came in. Reg Happy, Reg Daisy, Reg Alpha with the stories. I mean, and Bricks, huh? Did I miss something?
Yeah, he said Reg Alpha. He's not a Reg.
Oh.
Honorary red.
Like I said. But anyways, again, shout out to them for their stories, and everyone in chat who came in, Bricks who came in, everyone. Just, this is just what today was aimed for. I mean, I did decide to do it today because, like I said, I don't know if I wanted to stream tomorrow. I mean, it's just the inside of me. It's just, I mean, how can you? I mean, you want to do something and you want to honor the day. You want to honor the people, give them proper memorial. You don't want to do anything to seem disrespectful. And again, that's just how I am. It's just how I am as a person. And I love history. I love history. I could probably do, if I did just chatting, it would be nothing but history. I mean, let's just be honest. That's how much I love history. But, you know, everyone knows me as a Vigor player. So, you know, I decided today I was going to get away from Vigor, at least for tonight, and try and do a proper 9/11 stream. So
Yeah, I'm actually playing Dead by Daylight at the moment.
well, that's all good. I mean, it is what it is. But I mean, we're at the end of the stream. But I mean, before, you know, we were all here. We all talked. We all did what we said we were going to do, and I think that's where we're going to call it. All right, chat. So, I guess what we'll do is we're gonna go ahead and cut off the stream. We'll leave it at that. Let's honor a moment of silence for the victims. Alright, chat. So if I stream tomorrow, it might be a video game. I don't know yet. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. Like this picture says, 9/11/01, we will never forget. Thank you for everyone who has stopped by for the chat. Bulldog, thank you for the gifted subs. All the bots, thank you for annoying me half to death with all your fake follows. Everyone who came in and gave their stories. everyone who came in and listened throughout the entire stream. Means the world to me. So,
Thank you for doing this, Blue.
thank you guys for the support, for giving me the support to do this. Because like I said earlier, I did not know how I was going to do it. We just went on along with it. Until next time, my friends. Peace.